Welcome into Opening the Door here at Gov Fuller Field. I'm Timmy Weiss alongside Ryan Martin and Andrew Della Piana, breaking down this game between the Commodores and the Yarmouth-Dennis Red Sox. Ryan, it was a tough game for the Commodores yesterday as they fell 4-1 to the Wareham Gatemen.
Yeah, 3-run loss at Spillane Field, which has beautiful new renovations, Timmy, but the Doors' bats could have been a little bit prettier. Just 3 hits for Falmouth in that loss on the road, none for extra base hits, which has been the issue all season, finding consistency in that. Last night they couldn't get it done there on the road at Wareham.
Another issue was the runners in scoring position, Andrew. It's been a continued problem throughout the season.
Yeah, 9 runners left on base, 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position. That puts Falmouth at a total this year 6 for 58 with runners at second and or third. There's only one team that has a worse mark, and that is Katuitt, sitting at 1-6 in the bottom of the barrel of the standings right now. When you get runners in scoring position, Timmy, you got to drive them in. It's as simple as that.
It's not going to get any easier for this Falmouth offense today. They are facing the best pitching staff in the Cape Cod Baseball League in Yarmouth-Dennis.
Right? Yeah, 2.14 ERA for the Red Sox, and it's a right-hander making its first appearance of the season, the Oklahoma Sooner and Dylan Tate. But guys, this is a pitching staff that quieted the Brewster Whitecaps. That team was 5-0. They scored 0 runs, had its first loss of the season last year at YD. A day after, it scored a season-high 14 runs. So if this pitching staff for YD can limit that Brewster team, this Falmouth team has its word cut out for them to try to do a little bit better.
It should be a fun one here at Gov Fuller Field. It's the Commodores and the Red Sox. First pitch at 6.
Hi, I'm Jim Murray, owner of Falmouth's historic Clam Shack, now Jim's Clam Shack. Located on scenic Falmouth Harbor, Jim's Clam Shack is a destination for the best seafood and sunsets on the Cape. We're open 7 days a week, so stop by for lunch or join us for dinner on the rooftop deck. Bring the entire family to try our wide selection of seafood and kid-friendly option. We deliver the freshest products to your plates daily. Jim's Clam Shack, proud supporter of the Falmouth Commodores.
Are you looking for that perfect pregame meal? Supreme Pizza has you covered. Its extensive menu has everything from pies and calzones to salads and subs. And with its online ordering system, delicious food is just one click away.
It's an honor to support the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Supreme Pizza is open every day of the week. Order online or stop by their store located at 147 T-Ticket Highway and try a slice today.
Hi, I'm Grayson Sagne, right-handed pitcher from Texas. I'm a junior, and you're watching Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV. Let's go.
William Rosen here, joined by Mark Quattroni. Mark, this is your second season in Summer League ball. You were in a different Summer League last year. What made you find the Cape League and the Commodores this year?
Honestly, I think just a lot of people are reaching out and supporting me, and as the kind of player I am. But the Futures League last year was a great experience, and it's been a good experience so far this year, so yeah.
Your second season at Cornell has concluded. Another great season. You batted upwards of .315 for 2 consecutive seasons. What was working well in Ithaca this year?
Yeah, I know, just playing to my strengths. I trust my power as a hitter, and I trust my strengths and abilities overall, so just sticking to my approach and, yeah, just letting things happen.
As you enter the transfer portal officially, you're moving on. What's something you're looking for in a future destination?
I guess just somewhere where baseball is more serious. You know, at Cornell, obviously the academics were great there, but if I could do somewhere where the academics are good and so is baseball, then, you know, that would make me a really happy man, so yeah.
Mark, what are you looking for as this season progresses here in Falmouth?
Some wins. You know, we're below 500 right now, but it'd be great to get things going and, you know, start in the win column, so yeah.
Thank you, Mark. Let's send it over to our public address announcer, William Rosen.
Thanks so much, William. We'll be back to you on public address in just a little bit. But for now, it's Sunday night baseball between the Falmouth Commodores and the Yarmouth-Dennis Red Sox, game number 8 of the 2025 Cape Cod Baseball League season. It's a fun one here at Gov Fuller Field, and thanks so much for joining us on Cape League TV. Alongside Andrew Della Piana, I'm Ryan Martin, excited for this cross-division battle, Andrew. And it comes after a tough loss against a fellow West Division opponent for Falmouth, a 4-1 loss at Wareham last night.
Yeah, another frustrating one for a Falmouth team that's still looking to find its footing on this young season. We talked about a little bit earlier here on the pregame show that this team, when they get runners at second and third, they really have to cash in. I really harped on it. 6 for 58 this season with runners in scoring position. The only team worse right now is batting sub 100. That's Katuitt, sitting at 1-6 right now, down at the bottom of the barrel in the West Division. Also, only 8 RBIs for the Kettleers with runners in scoring position as well. And it doesn't make it a lot easier that you're facing one of the best pitching staffs in the league entering tonight with YD.
How about one lone extra base hit for Katuitt as well, just a double on the resume so far. You'll see the Kettlers in action a little bit later this week. A look there at the Commodores, who that's the position players, and that's the conversation that needs to be had right now, Andrew Della Piana, for a Falmouth team that you mentioned the runners in scoring position issue all season. That was highlighted 0 for 9 with runners in scoring position last night at Spillane Field.
And there was chances for them to come back in that game. You have that second inning where you allow that 4-run inning in the second frame, and the worst part of that too, Ryan, was all that damage came with 2 outs, where the starter in TJ Coates did his job, retired the first 2 without any ease, and then you come back in that ball game in the later half of that inning, and then they explode for 4 straight in the Gateman, including a 2-run triple to really put the nail on the head there to end that second inning. And it's innings like that have sometimes got away from Falmouth, where you just have to settle in, buckle in when there's 2 outs, get that third out and get off the field. And the offense also really needs to contribute as well, as we've mentioned on earlier.
And for the last time, Falmouth was here at home at Gov Fuller Field, a 7-3 victory over Orleans. The Commodores now 2-0 on the season against the Firebirds. Then you look at the other teams they played, that's a 1-4 record.
And the power was what really stood out, especially in those 2 Orleans games. One on the road at Eldridge, one back here at the Gov. 7 of their 8 home runs this year have come against the Firebirds. And people were saying, oh, maybe it's just the short porch out in Eldridge. That kind of helped out a little bit. Maybe it did so. You hit 4 home runs in one night. That's pretty good. But you come back a little bit earlier in the week and you take down the Firebirds after hitting 3 for 8 this season.
You see the leader in that team huddle. That's Marshall center fielder Micah New. What does that Commodores lineup have today? We'll introduce that lineup right after we hear from public address announcer William Rosen. He'll take over now at Gov Fuller Field for the pregame festivities.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Arnie Allen Diamond at Gov Fuller Field for tonight's Cape Cod Baseball League matchup, featuring the visiting Yarmouth-Dennis Red Sox and your Falmouth Commodores. And now it's time to meet tonight's starting lineups. First, for the visiting Yarmouth-Dennis Red Sox, the manager of the YD Red Sox is Scott Pickler. Leading off, the center fielder from the University of Southern California, number 8, Braden Dowd. Batting second, the designated hitter from Georgia Tech, number 2, Will Baker. Batting third, the shortstop from Texas A&M, number 10, Chris Hakopian. Batting fourth, the right fielder from Georgia Tech, number 4, Alex Hernandez. Batting fifth, the catcher from Texas Christian University, number 7, Nolan Traeger. Batting sixth, the third baseman from East Tennessee State, number 14, Cody Miller. Batting seventh, the left fielder from Seton Hall, number 28, A.J. Soldra. Batting eighth, the second baseman from Rutgers, number 12, Yomar Carreras. Batting ninth, the first baseman from USC, number 18, Dean Carpentier. The pitcher this evening for the YD Red Sox, a right-handed pitcher from Oklahoma, number 28, Dylan Tate. And now it's time to meet the starting lineup for your Falmouth Commodores. First, the manager in his first season with Falmouth, World Series champion, Jared Saltalamacchia. Leading off, the right fielder from the University of Maryland, number 2, Antonio Morales. Batting second, the second baseman from the University of Alabama, number 7, Justin Osterhaus. Batting third, the center fielder, number 3, Micah New. Batting fourth, the first baseman from Georgia Tech, number 10, Kent Schmidt. Batting fifth, the designated hitter from Southern Mississippi, number 17, Kyle Morrison. Batting 6, the third baseman from the University of Southern California, number 8, Carl Schmidt. Batting 7th, the catcher from Virginia Tech, number 12, David McCann. Batting 8th, the left fielder from the University of Central Florida, number 41, John Smith. And batting 9th, the shortstop from the University of Tennessee, number 26, Chris Newstrom. The pitcher this evening for your Commodores, a right-handed pitcher from UCF, number 13, Matt Susser. Ladies and gentlemen, let's introduce tonight's community group, the Falmouth Scouts. Scouting in the town of Falmouth has a great history. Scouting is a values-based program that uses outdoor adventure, community service, and personal achievement to develop character and leadership skills in young people. Falmouth Scouts can be found doing their daily good turn, not only at tonight's game, but throughout the year. They honor our veterans on Veterans Day and by placing flags on graves for Memorial Day, assisting the Falmouth Service Center with food drives and distributions, and by leading conservation projects throughout the town. Ladies and gentlemen, the Falmouth Scouts. Ladies and gentlemen, we ask that if you're able to please rise and remove your hats as we honor America and those who protect our freedom with the singing of our national anthem. Tonight is the 25-member vocal company from the College Light Opera Company. Whenever you're ready, College Light Opera Company.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free, and the home of the brave, home of the brave.
A beautiful rendition of the Star Spangled Banner by the College Light Opera Company. And it's time for Commodores baseball, Sunday Night Baseball here on Cape League TV between the 3-4 Falmouth Commodores and the 4-2-1 visiting Yarmouth-Dennis Red Sox. Sox doors, Andrew, this is a good one, especially when it comes to Matt Saucer, the pitcher for Falmouth. What are we expecting out of him as Falmouth gets ready to take the mound?
Well, it feels like kind of a get-right game for Matt Saucer, where he was solid a couple of days ago when we went to Orleans, and 3 2/3, 4 hits allowed, 2 earned runs, but his offense really helped up in that one with 15 runs coming across the board. Didn't walk anyone, though, which was one of the big issues he talked about coming into this summer. Really set the tone on that forefront, 3 strikeouts to go along as well. Very heavy fastball. 62% of the time we'll also see a slider and a curveball in the mix, but expect to see that fastball a whole lot reaching into the low 90s.
We'll have to see. We'll hear more about Saucer and the position players, the starting 9 for the Falmouth Commodores. As Yarmouth-Dennis takes the bats first, we'll send it right back over quickly for the ceremonial first pitch.
Fans. Brendan recently retired this June from the United States Army after a 30-year career as a command sergeant major. Thank you, Brendan, for your sacrifice and service to our nation with a strike. One more time for Brendan Bowen. All right, Scouts, it's time to
Play ball!
If the Scouts say it, it's true. Let's do it in Falmouth.
Great job, everybody.
Pretty good first pitch. Means it's time for Falmouth to take the field for the first time here tonight. First edition of Sunday Night Baseball from Gov Fuller Field. Take a look at Matt Saucer again, UCF right-hander, who we were just talking about. At Orleans, got the run support needed, but then Commodores haven't gotten the same run support here at the Gov. You see his numbers there in that one appearance against Orleans.
And the big thing he's looking for is looking to land that fastball and curveball a little bit earlier in the counts. He did so a little bit against Orleans. It's not a phenomenal offensive team where you can get a little bit of help from their hitting sometimes, but you got a great set of defense and offense behind him, especially taking on one of the tougher lineups in YD tonight, Ryan.
Yeah, Andrew, you mentioned Orleans doesn't have the best bats, but maybe the best bats in the league reside in YD. Here's the starting nine for the Red Sox tonight. We'll bring in a 267 average. That's the best on Cape Cod at the moment. Andrew, who are you looking at here 1 through 9?
It's that guy right in the cleanup spot, the right fielder, number 4, Alex Hernandez, wrapping up a phenomenal freshman season at Georgia Tech. Just about top 5 in every offensive category right now, 3rd in the league in OPS, 3rd in the league in slugging, top 5 in hits as well, with someone who has really set the tone early and has not missed a beat since leaving Atlanta.
3 straight games of multiple hits for Hernandez, who will have the 75-degree Sunday night crowd to deal with. You see the Falmouth Osprey right there. They've enjoyed a warm weather week overall.
That's a great view of tonight's game.
Continue today. You see it feels a little bit cooler just near the Heights Beach in Falmouth. 75 degrees, 72 real feel. Been a bit of a breeze so far today. Looks like it's settled down into the evening. Final pitch down for Matt Saucer. Get this one underway between the Commodores and the Red Sox. We'll take a quick look around the diamond at your umpires. Calling the balls and strikes behind home plate today, it's Pablo Bustamante at first base. It's Rick Force, and at third base, it's George Shransky. So in steps Braden Dowd, just about to get ready to go. Can't ask for a much better night for baseball to wrap up the weekend before the first league-wide off day tomorrow. Dowd, the left-hander, steps in. That was back the first pitch he sees at 5:59 p.m. on this Sunday evening. Dowd, the center fielder from USC, squares the bunt the second time and will foul it again. A lot of Trojan representation for both of these teams. YD will start its 9 with the Trojan and Dowd, and we'll end it with Dean Carpentier, the first baseman.
And speaking of Trojans, Adrian Lopez, who took a hit to the head a little bit earlier this season. Talked to him earlier today. Expect to be back in the lineup on Tuesdays. He's been cleared.
That was a great thing to see. Guys who have a lot of familiarity with each other. Dowd stays alive in this first count. For Saucer, got a look there at the slider. Also has a fastball and curveball at his disposal. We talked to him preseason, Andrew, trying to work on that changeup as well. 2 runs high. Saucer making 10 appearances for the Golden Knights this season. 9 of them starts. His second start of the season for the Commodores. Again, not too much pressure for Saucer in that first start at Orleans. Commodores plated a pair of runs in both the first and second inning in that start. Using that fastball, Saucer gets that first strikeout. Bit of a battle with Braden Dowd, but it's Saucer, the right-handed pitcher, who wins it.
Really good placement on that pitch as well. A couple of foul balls from Dowd to keep this at-bat alive, and then just picks out that outer corner for strike 3.
So after Dowd, it's another left-hander and Georgia Tech's Will Baker. Baker takes a strike. Get the Commodores defensive alignment in just a moment. So 1 turns to an 0-2. There's the defense for Falmouth today. A lot of similar position players as we've seen. Morales back into right field as another strikeout from Saucer, a defense that we just saw, Andrew, that hasn't had to contest with any balls in play through the first 2 batters faced. 2 strikeouts for Saucer.
Saucer went to the strikeout, I should say, to the fastball for that last strikeout. Similar spot with a changeup here on the outer half of the plate against the lefties.
Right-hander successful against the first 2 left-handed hitters. Now here's a right-hander. And new Texas A&M shortstop Chris Hakopian. Announcing his transfer from the University of Maryland just a few days ago. Moving from the Big Ten into the SEC. Hakopian watches a fastball outside for a ball. Someone with a lot of family lineage at Maryland. His older brother Eddie just graduating. Utility player for the Terps. This one's on the ground over to the third baseman Schmidt and over across the diamond to Schmidt and Ken Schmidt. 3 up, 3 down to begin this one for the Red Sox. Falmouth bats do it for the first time when you return here on Cape League TV.
Hi, my name is Matt Burgess, General Manager here at Falmouth Country Club. We have a unique 27-hole public golf course with a beautiful layout that is family-oriented. Kids play free here at Falmouth Country Club. Getting on the course is quick and easy with our app. You can book tee times, get yardages with GPS, use our interactive scorecard, track your stats, and receive exclusive in-app offers. Falmouth Country Club is a true Cape Cod classic and a local family favorite.
See you on the course.
You'll always be safe at home with the Diana Lucevero Group at Compass Real Estate.
I'm Adrian Lopez. I'm an infielder from the University of Southern California, and you're watching Commodore Baseball on Cape League TV.
Quickly to the bottom of the first inning after Matt Saucer and the Commodores defense faced the minimum atop of the first. We'll take a look at the Commodores' starting lineup here today. It gets started with the Maryland Terrapin and Antonio Morales.
And he has been an on-base machine so far this season. Getting on base just about 44% of the time, and also has displayed a nice amount of speed as well. He started all 8 games now for the Commodores. No other player in the lineup today can say that.
The Commodores is a team that looks to improve on just 1 run plated last night at Wareham as you get a look at the Yarmouth-Dennis right-hander, rising senior Dylan Tate out of Oklahoma, making his Cape League debut.
Yeah, just arrived to the Cape yesterday, 24 hours, 48 hours, if you will, and bring some solid stuff over to the Cape. He's got good mechanics. Those fastballs can reach up into the upper 90s. But the interesting part is he only made 2 appearances for the Sooners this past season, one of them being in the Chapel Hill Regional, that game where Oklahoma got blown out in the regional final by North Carolina. So, A, first time he'll be in a starting position, and B, it's first time he's pitched in a while.
You saw right there a 1.8 ERA for Tate across the 5 innings pitched in those 2 bullpen appearances with the Sooners. Transferring into SEC play after previously being at Jefferson Community College. Do it first, as mentioned, is the left-hander Antonio Morales. It was a called strike for Morales. Mentioned Chris Hakopian with Yarmouth-Dennis transferring out of Maryland. For Morales, the Norfolk, Massachusetts native, transferring into Maryland just last week. In our conversations with Morales, he's someone that he says head coach Matt Swope is excited to use him all over the field. The Terps have utilized utility players often, so now Morales, again, the local Massachusetts product, could be a big addition in the Big Ten for Maryland.
And it's really done that great versatility as well. We've seen him out in right field, at second base, so to have a guy like that in the Terps lineup is going to be very important for them to get back on track in the Big Ten.
Mentioned Morales has played now in all 8 games this season. 6 for 23, had that triple as well to start off. 14 runs Falmouth scored against Orleans. Most runs the Commodores have had in a game since late July 2023. But that offense has been a bit inconsistent since that win at Eldridge Park. Morales even in the count with Tate. Swings through the changeup. Slows down to 85 miles an hour. Both teams start this one off with the strikeout, so the Yarmouth-Dennis defense doesn't have a ball in play to make, but that's what the defense looks like for the Red Sox today. Consistent infield this season for field manager Scott Pickrell. Defense that will see if they have a ball in play now with Justin Osterhaus, the Alabama second baseman, into the left-handed batter's box and watches first pitch ball upstairs. Second batter, second transfer this offseason for Falmouth. Osterhaus coming over from Purdue Fort Wayne into the SEC with the University of Alabama. He'll make a really interesting middle infield pairing with Justin LeBron, a Harwich Mariner, one of the top shortstops in SEC play this past season, had 18 home runs. So you got to look at Osterhaus's numbers right there. Heading the count, but still watches a strike. Count 2 balls and 1 strike.
18 home runs for Justin LeBron this past season as well. You add that with Osterhaus, who just had also a phenomenal season with 16, third most in program history. Going to be a special middle infield.
Osterhaus still trying to find his footing in Cape League play. His 6th appearance. So far, 2 for 21. Has had a couple well-timed hits. You think about the RBI broken bat single in Chatham for the opening day win. The only run scored in that game, the 1-0 win for the Commodores. Was in action at Wareham last night, going 1 for 4. This one on the ground. Left side to Chris Akopian. Comes up with it. Throws over to first base in time to retire Osterhaus. Osterhaus certainly not a small school name at University of Alabama, but Micah New, a rising senior, originally at Marshall, maybe coming from a smaller school, making a big impact, but now in the transfer portal, New has made his name known through 6 games played on the Cape, and will try to extend this bottom of the first inning. Tied for the Cape League lead with those 3 home runs that he hit in 3 straight games. So tied for second in the league with 6 runs. Slugging percentage at .600 right now. This one will go right upstairs. Hit New in the head. Looks to be okay as he throws the bat towards the Commodores' dugout and heads over to first base.
It looks to be all right. Gives the thumbs up back to his dugout. A little scary there.
Yeah. Dylan Tate giving an out over to first base and pats his chest, as you see there, saying, "That's my bat on the fastball that got away." Now the lefty, Kent Schmidt, rising junior at Georgia Tech and first baseman tonight for the Commodores. Has an opportunity from the cleanup spot. New goes. Traeger throws over down to second, but New slides in safely. Runner in scoring position now for the Yellow Jacket and Kent Schmidt.
Part of a News game that maybe gets undervalued a little bit is that speed. He's kind of taken command of that outfield, playing center field in a lot of games so far this season.
News' second stolen base of the Cape League season. Puts the first runner in scoring position in this game. Schmidt sends it on the right side for a base hit as Micah New gets a wave around first by third base coach and Jack O'Reilly. It's an RBI single for Kent Schmidt and a 1-0 Commodores lead in the bottom of the first.
That was kind of the big problem last night. 0-for with runners in scoring position. Kent Schmidt goes after the first one, left right down the heart of the plate by Dylan Tate.
First RBI of the season for Kent Schmidt in his 6th appearance. That makes that stolen base by Micah New that much more important. You think it could be runners at the corners if New doesn't swipe that bag on the previous pitch. Here's Kyle Morrison. Southern Mississippi Eagle will also wear one on the forward right leg. The first pitch thrown by Dylan Tate. So now Schmidt up to second. Morrison over to first for the California Golden Bear and third baseman in Carl Schmidt. Talked about the positional versatility with the Commodores as leadoff man and Antonio Morales. That's what you've seen from Carl Schmidt. He's played a little bit everywhere, both at Cal and in Falmouth. We'll send the first pitch into right center field. Another base hit. Ken Schmidt, the first baseman, gets the wave around third. The throw home will not come. It's the second RBI single in the last 3 batters for Falmouth. Just moving the stations as Carl Schmidt makes it 2-0 Falmouth now.
And again, almost the exact same spot from Dylan Tate where he just misses middle. And the Commodores taking full advantage of that. Good to see this team get off to a nice start early on and hopefully set the tempo on this one.
Quick meeting on the mound after the Commodores plate 2 already in the bottom of the first inning as the catcher, Nolan Traeger, comes and has the word with the right-hander in Dylan Tate.
Think about it, too. This is a staff that no-hit Brewster after 7 innings last night, a Whitecaps team that just suffered their first loss of the season. The main thing we talked about coming to this one was this staff being ultra impressive. Least hits allowed, least runs allowed.
That was a Brewster team as well, again, that came into that matchup with the Red Sox 5-0. And the previous night had beaten Bourne 14-0 at Durham Park. Correct, that 6-0. The best start in recent memory for the Whitecaps as far back as at least.
Best start ever.
Yeah, 2010. Here's David McCann, the Virginia Tech catcher. Kyle Morrison off of second base and Carl Schmidt off of first base for the Hokie backstop. This one's right up the middle again, over to Chris Hakopian into the shift. Hakopian will just touch second base and stop the first inning scoring for Falmouth. RBI singles from Kent Schmidt and Carl Schmidt make it 2-0 Falmouth entering the top of the second, where we'll talk to you next here on Cape League TV.
Hi, I'm Jim Murray, owner of Falmouth's historic clam shack, now Jim's Clam Shack. Located on scenic Falmouth Harbor, Jim's Clam Shack is a destination for the best seafood and sunsets on the Cape. We're open 7 days a week, so stop by for lunch or join us for dinner on the rooftop deck. Bring the entire family to try our wide selection of seafood and kid-friendly options. We deliver the freshest products to your plates daily. Jim's Clam Shack, proud supporter of the Falmouth Commodores.
Are you looking for that perfect pregame meal? Supreme Pizza has you covered. Its extensive menu has everything from pies and calzones to salads and subs. And with its online ordering system, delicious food is just one click away.
It's an honor to support the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Supreme Pizza is open every day of the week. Order online or stop by their store located at 147 T-Ticket Highway and try a slice today.
Hi, I'm Grayson Sagne, right-handed pitcher from Texas. I'm a junior, and you're watching Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV. Let's go.
Top of the second inning, now a 2-0 Commodores lead as you get a look there at 12-year Major League Baseball veteran, but first-year Falmouth Commodore field manager, it's Jared Saltzlamakia.
Has taken the reins of this program and hopefully turned them around to something special. He was very optimistic about last night's game, about this team. You know, it's still early in the season, still trying to find its footing, but I feel like he's done a solid job so far to start.
We'll have a more in-depth breakdown of Saltzlamakia's first week as the Commodores' field manager coming up tomorrow on the first edition of the Monday Morning Manager Show with Saltzlamakia, a guy who is new to the Cape League for a field manager position, but Scott Pickler in his 27th season with YD is certainly not new.
Yeah, that guy wearing number 13, he's been doing this for a long time. His 27th season as the manager for the Red Sox. Most wins in Cape League history. He's got over 600. 6 Cape League titles on your resume. That's not too shabby.
Saucer faces the minimum in the first inning, gets Alex Hernandez to pop up to Morales on the first pitch he throws in the second inning. quick and quiet first out on the cleanup hitter for YD. After the Georgia Tech right fielder flies out to his defensive counterpart in Morales, here's the TCU catcher and Nolan Traeger. Traeger, a rising sophomore with the Horned Frogs, originally from Spring, Texas, and Concordia Lutheran High School. Looking for a bounce-back day after 0 for 3 and 3 strikeouts yesterday against Brewster. It was a game that didn't have much offense amidst the Red Sox win.
He only had 3 hits in that one, and the big blow coming from Chris Akopian with that 3-run shot.
All 3 runs scored on that homer by the newest Texas A&M Aggie. Kind of similar to last night at Wareham as well, a 4-1 Gateman win in which all 4 runs scored in the bottom of the second inning for a Wareham team that's one of the top teams in the West Division at the moment. 7th appearance of the season for Traeger. Has 1 double to his name, 4 hits overall. Looks to be the first Red Sox to reach base in this game against Traeger. Puts it on the ground on the right side and won't do it on that pitch.
From East Tennessee State, the third baseman, number 14, Cody Miller, number 14.
5 up, 5 down thus far for the Red Sox lineup. So here's Eastern Tennessee State third baseman Cody Miller. Rising senior from Rocky Point, New York, wasn't in the lineup yesterday versus Brewster, but 2 days ago, that Friday win versus Chatham. 9-2 win for the Sox, and Miller knocking his first homer of the summer, that one. Peel over on the check swing, but it's first base umpire and Rick Force who says that Miller did not go around. So keep the count at a ball and a strike for Saucer. When we talked about Matt Saucer, again, picking up the win in that 14-5 victory for the Commodores at Orleans earlier this week. Saucer had the run support, and it came after the Commodores played a pair of runs in the first 2 innings. Falmouth's doing its job here through the first inning after those 2 RBI singles. Saucer's been perfect on the mound, though, so far in response. Uses the curveball, but can't duck it into the zone. So scoreboard is all lit up at 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 gone in the top of the second. Outside for Miller, it's a full count walk to the East Tennessee State corner infielder. It's the first Red Sox aboard to elongate this top of the second inning.
It's a good plate discipline on that at bat from Miller, where fell back in the count. Seen a couple of times from Saucer go to that breaking ball or even that fastball, try to pump it in the outer half of the plate. Lays off the slider on the outer half, draws himself a walk.
Brings up the Seton Hall left fielder and A.J. Soldra. Miller now off of first. Soldra swings through a first pitch. A look over, and just getting in safe is Cody Miller.
Great heads-up play by McCann. Was not expecting that back tack.
Especially with the left-handed hitter in Hall. McCann just snuck from right behind him and threw over to Schmidt at first base. Miller won't be fooled the second time. Miller gets on first base after the walk issued from Matt Saucer. He didn't do that at all in the 3 2/3 innings he pitched at Orleans on Tuesday. No walks, but 3 strikeouts for the UCF right-hander. Gave up 4 hits and 2 earned runs. This one into the air, deep left center field. Smith, a quick run back, and this one is gone. Out in a hurry for the left fielder, A.J. Soldra, and he knocks one over out into left field. This game is tied in the top of the second inning on the 381-foot bomb by A.J. Soldra.
Just a good piece of hitting there. Gets that fastball in the outer half of the plate and just go where the pitch takes him.
Second homer of the summer. Second homer in the last 3 days. And 2 straight appearances for A.J. Soldra. Yeah, 3-run homer against Chatham in that 9-2 win. That one blew the game open against the Anglers. Turned it from a 3-2 game to a 6-2 game. This one ties it up at 2, though, and brings up the 8-hitter in Yomar Carreras. Carreras sends one into left field. This one a bit more shallow for John Smith. Camps under it and ends the second inning. But not until a 2-run shot from A.J. Soldra makes this a 2-2 game between the Red Sox and the Commodores. How do the Falmouth Bats respond in the bottom of the second, where we return on Cape League TV?
You'll always be safe at home with the Diana Lucevero Group at Compass Real Estate.
There hasn't been a ton of training when it comes to bat speed or products for players to be able to train bat speed. You can improve your bat speed and reach your goals working 10 to 15 minutes a day on this a couple of times a week. That's a no-brainer for every player.
If you can dream it, if you can cruise in it, if you can summer in it, fish from it, or take it for a day at the beach, we can protect it. The Baldwin Group, protecting the possible.
What's up? I'm Ken Schmidt, first base from Georgia Tech, and you're watching Cape League TV.
All tied at 2 here between YD and Falmouth. As Commodores Bats come back up against a YD staff, Andrew, that's been great so far this season.
The numbers speak for themselves. Least hits allowed, we mentioned, 32. The next team closest behind them is Falmouth at 45, so 2 really good staffs going at each other tonight. Of course, that 1 whip is phenomenal, and even the least runs allowed. They're the only team in the league that has allowed less than 4 runs in every single game this season.
Commodores on their way to changing that. Smith over to the third baseman and Miller. 1 pitch, 1 out to begin the bottom of the second inning. But 2 runs plated in the bottom of the first inning for the Commodores. That's been an issue for Falmouth in finding consistent offense here at the Gov. So already it's the 9-hole hitter in Chris Newsham, shortstop from Tennessee. Into the righty box against Dylan Tate. Still on the mound. The Oklahoma Sooner making his Cape League debut. Look at Newsham's stats so far in the year, 1 for 10. Chaparral High School graduate and Phoenix, Arizona native. Entering his sophomore season there in Knoxville.
Expecting him to take a massive jump in playing time as well under Tony Vitella, who did bring in some phenomenal recruits, but Newstrom is going to be one of those guys that has to play a major factor in this team, getting back to where they want to be in the College World Series.
Vitella spoke on Newstrom this past season with the Volunteers. He called Newstrom someone who has a lot of self-belief and an extreme amount of athleticism. That's quite a compliment coming from one of the best coaches in the SEC.
He is a fantastic runner, no doubt.
Stays alive in this count, fouling back the 1-2 pitch. And for Newstrom, our conversations with him has all been, again, about positional versatility. Stop, if you've heard that before, with these young Falmouth Bats. We've seen Newstrom in center field, stand in the middle infields, starting shortstop today for the Commodores. Swings through a good breaking ball for Dylan Tate. Tate's second strikeout of the game. First one came on the Commodores' leadoff batter with Antonio Morales. Gets the 1-hole hitter to strike out. And then also in the 9 spot, Chris Newstrom picks up the K.
A lot of credit. A great spot for Dylan Tate where that slider starts in at the hitter, breaks out at the last moment, especially guys in that righty's batter's box breaking away. Tough to come back from.
So as mentioned, here's Antonio Morales, who struck out in his first plate appearance. But someone who's been one of the Commodores' most consistent hitters this season. In the lineup for the 7th time starting. They'd come in as a replacement in that win over Orleans on Friday. Just someone you really have a tough time taking out if you're first-year field manager Jared Saltzlamaki with the way he's swinging the bat.
He's been at the 1, 2, and the 9 spot in the order, and even on that opening day lineup when he was in the 9 spot, I immediately said to you on that broadcast that he's going to be your turnaround guy out of that 9 spot, and of course he jumps up to the number 1 spot next couple of games later.
Watching the pitch inside from Tate. He's putting together those at-bats. Myself and Ben Haller were talking about in that Orleans win with a guy like Morales, someone who's here to impress Major League scouts, impress incoming coaches, but also show that they deserve some playing time come the spring of 2026. He earns here a 5-pitch walk. Morales on base for the first time today. So now Morales off of first base for the Crimson Tide second baseman in Justin Osterhaus. Rounded out to Hakopian at short just an inning ago. This Commodores bats already working quickly into this game. Score still tied at 2 between Falmouth and YD. Commodores plated 2 runs in the bottom of the first inning on RBI singles from Kent Schmidt and Carl Schmidt. No relation at all between the Georgia Tech first baseman and California third baseman, respectively. Another look over and throw to Morales. And in that last half inning, 2-run homer over left field for the left fielder with Yarmouth-Dennis and A.J. Soldra. Ties our score into the second inning. Osterhaus' bunt, a good one down the third base line as Tate slips off the mound for a moment. And all the third baseman and Cody Miller can do is put a glove to it and keep it in his pocket. Osterhaus lugs out an infield single. 2 on now for Mike New.
I'm not entirely sure if that was hitting coach and third base coach Jack O'Reilly who made that call there, but Osterhaus just pulling a rabbit out of his hat, basically, where he surprised the defense, especially with the shift on towards right field. Look, we've watched a lot of baseball games, and I've always wondered why lefties don't utilize that more with the shift onto the right side. It's a lot easier said than done, of course, but
Osterhaus made it look easy right there. And even if Tate has a good jump off the mound, don't know if he's, as a right-hander on the first base side of the rubber, able to go get it over there by third base. But Morales off of second, Osterhaus off of first base for Mike New. And tied for the Cape League lead with 3 homers. New smiling in the right-handed batter's box after having a scary pitch off the helmet an inning ago. Came around to score on the next batter with Kent Schmidt. Tate's 2-0. Inside the zone with New. Those 3 home runs for New. Half of the hits he has on the season. 5 RBI. For the former Marshall Herd member. As both runners take off. And they'll have to go back to first and second, respectively. Count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
That's frustrating for Falmouth. Antonio Morales got one of the best jumps I've ever seen. As Dylan Tate hadn't even lifted up his left leg yet, Morales was already gone. He claps his hands as he gets back to the second base, a little bit of frustration.
Just 1 strike on with the hit and run as well for New. Could have afforded to take that pitch. But as it stands, count evens at 2. Outside, blocked away for a moment by Traeger, but it's far enough away for both runners now to advance into scoring position. Morales 90 feet away at third, and Osterhaus at second for this full count pitch upcoming.
Maybe that makes that a little bit worse because Morales is now on third. The run scores, but we can play the what-if game we won all night.
We think that the ball got away from the catcher and Traeger enough that if Morales was on third, he'd still come home. It doesn't matter, as it's another full count walk for Falmouth. Micah New aboard via a free pass for the second time tonight. Hit by pitch in the first and now walked here in the second. Bases loaded for Kent Schmidt, who had an RBI single last inning in only maybe 25 minutes of real time. This Commodores team that was 0 for 9 with runners in scoring position last night at Wareham now has 2 in scoring position, add on a third at first with New, and just sliding in safely is Morales. Close play at third. The tag applied well by Cody Miller. Scott Pickerel will come have a word with third base umpire and George Shratsky.
That was just about as close as it gets. Morales, say he was about quarter down the line. And a great heads-up play by Nolan Traeger. There's a good reason why he's a freshman All-American this past season. A little bit of a tough angle, too, for Strasky, where he was just to the right of the mound with that bases loaded. That third base umpire not in position down the third base line like they usually are if there is a runner on first or even no runners on at all. So that makes that call a little bit difficult on the snap pad from Cody Miller at third.
Scott Pickerel will head back towards the YD dugout. One ball, no strike to Kent Schmidt. No homers on the season yet with Falmouth. Sends this one into left field. Actually, this will drop even into the infield to end the first inning. After the close play with Miller at third, Miller will pull down the pop-up and keep the bases loaded. Falmouth can't play any in the bottom of the second. Still tied at 2 with the third inning coming up next on Cape League TV.
To dig, lift, move, grade, clear, or cut, pump, weld, clean, light, and just about anything else. Dial up the rental source for the newest and the most reliable equipment in New England. Staffed with equipment and construction experts. Milton Rents, your local source.
My name's Jack Bird. I'm a left-handed pitcher currently in the transfer portal. You're watching Commodores baseball on Cape League TV.
Doors fans, this summer's kids ages 5 to 18 can sign up for the Falmouth Commodores Youth Development Clinics. Live a day in the life of a Commodore and train with top collegiate players right here at Gov Fuller Field. Register today on our website at capecodleague.com/Falmouth. So far, it's been a clinic for each of these teams. In moments, you had the 2-run homer for YD an inning ago. And in the first, Commodores played 2 on a pair of RBI singles as our score stands now at 2-2. Good crowd on hand here at Gov Fuller Field for this Sunday Night Baseball, second consecutive Sunday in which Falmouth is in action here from the Gov. First pitch to the 9-hole hitter, Dean Carpentier, the USC first baseman, is upstairs for the UCF right-hander and Matt Saucer. Trojan in. Carpentier swings through another. 1 ball, 1 strike. Carpentier choosing to stay home, the Huntington Beach High School grad from Huntington Beach, California. making his 5th appearance with the Red Sox this season so far, 2 for 9 with a double. Rising juniors looking to build back here on Cape Cod after seeing his average drop just over 60 points during his sophomore season in Southern California with the Trojans. 1-2, back over on the ground to the shortstop in Newstrom. This one, high throw to Schmidt. But first base umpire Rick Force says that Schmidt keeps that back right foot on for the first out in the 3rd.
Work by Newstrom attacking the ball that wasn't hit very well on the ground. It came off the bat around 60, 70 miles per hour. Makes that throw a little bit off balance.
So one time through the lineup for Matt Saucer, just 1 hit allowed, but it was the 2-run home run for A.J. Soldra. 7-hole hitter tied this game up in the 2nd. Now back to the top with Braden Dowd, USC center fielder, who struck out swinging to lead this game off. So far, 2 strikeouts for Saucer against this Yarmouth-Dennis team. It's a Red Sox team, Andrew, that's only struck out 47 times entering tonight, now 49 times. That's still the lowest amount on Cape Cod.
And their offense, especially, too, over the last couple of games, really exploded during this 3-game win streak. Had some lulls in the early going, including that tie against Bourne where they only went 4-4. Well, other than that, you put up a 9-2 victory against Chatham and 3-0 against Brewster.
Good backhanded scoop by Kent Schmidt. Gets it over to Saucer at first base. First 2 retired at the top of the 3rd inning. Hey, you mentioned the batting average for the Red Sox as well, 267 entering today. But between the 49 strikeouts and 23 walks earned, those are both lowest on Cape Cod for the Red Sox. So this is a YD team that just loves putting balls in play. You won't see them walk too often or strike out.
And that's what you need to do sometimes. Just put pressure on the defense. Make them work for those outs and not the pitcher.
Will Baker squares the bunt, but the designated hitter pulls it back.
And especially when you have a Commodores pitching staff that has relied pretty heavily on the strikeout this year. They're one of the top units in the country in that respective category.
3.84 ERA for the Commodores entering today. It's the 3rd worst on Cape Cod. We say it year after year, especially in late June baseball. The pitching on Cape Cod is what separates this as the top summer collegiate baseball leagues, some of the best in the country. This is Baker into left field, where left fielder John Smith will make the run in towards left center. It's 3 up, 3 down again for Saucer. He does it in the 1st and now in the 3rd. Commodores bats look to take their 2nd league in the bottom of the 3rd when we return here on Cape League TV.
Introducing Open Cape, the local nonprofit internet service provider in this region. Open Cape's fast and reliable network is 100% fiber optic, providing affordable internet connectivity. To learn more, visit opencape.org and always speak with a live Open Cape representative. Open Cape, providing choice and competition for your home or business and the official internet provider of your Falmouth Commodores.
We are Open Cape.
Cape Cod 5 is proud to be the official banking partner of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Cape Cod 5 offers a broad range of financial products and services tailored for every stage in your financial journey. Reach out to us. We're here to help.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we're known for our monster wins. But there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. In our game, we know that supporting local businesses and helping communities is how we all win. Because at the lottery, we're all playing for the home team. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
I'm Ben Royo, shortstop from Texas A&M, and you're watching Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV.
What a better way to start your
Beautiful night in Falmouth, Massachusetts, where the Osprey, native to Falmouth, are loving it in this 2-2 game entering the bottom of the third inning.
I thought those were only at the University of North Florida in Jacksonville. No, they're here in Falmouth
Here
as
in
well.
Falmouth as well.
That's cool.
Looking to preserve them as well with the Osprey Project here in Falmouth. Looking to provide alternative nesting sites for many of the osprey that you see around Gov Fuller Field and in Falmouth. Cool little story. If you go to falmouthtogetherwecan.org/the Osprey Project to hear more about that. The Osprey will have to watch out now for 5, 6, 7, including Kyle Morrison, who hit a home run last time that part of left center field. Last time Commodores were in town. Put the first pitch he sees into foul territory. A long run for Cody Miller. Almost made it. Would have been a tough fall if he thought of going full extension on that dirt road, though.
M&A for effort. Going to run about a country mile to even make that play. The shift on once more for Morrison.
I say these shifts on often for the 4 lefties in the Commodores lineup. You saw Justin Osterhaus place a bunt down the third base line perfectly from his spot as a lefty in the last inning for the Commodores. Morrison watches strike 2. The newest Southern Mississippi infielder. Was one of 2 Commodores batters to be hit in the bottom of the first inning alongside Mike Anu.
Still rocking that South Alabama helmet, though.
See that often with guys who transition teams. So I think former teammate with the Jaguars, John Smith, had some South Alabama gear as well.
I also love the schools that have different baseball logos for their teams. Like USC comes to mind first.
I say you have 3 USC guys who could be wearing that alternative Trojan logo.
Even the UCLA Bruin B as well. You got a favorite?
Well, I was going to say is both Massachusetts guys. Have you seen the Boston College alternative one?
I associate that one more with hockey, to be honest. The bird ball thing?
Yep. Morrison watches the count go even at 2. Well, Patrick Roach, the third baseman and infielder for the Eagles, spent a few games in Falmouth end of last season. He was rocking some great merch, some great stuff there from Chestnut Hill. I think USC is the first team that comes to mind for me, though, as well.
Maybe even South Carolina, too, with the SC intertwining. That's pretty cool. Just watching Jackie Bradley Jr. growing up, I'd always see that.
Yep. Morrison has the South Alabama logo atop his helmet for this full count pitch. Into the left center field. Center fielder Dowd makes a run on it. Puts the glove up, back shoulder to pull down the first out in the bottom of the third for Falmouth. Ball just kind of died in the air for Kyle Morrison into left center field. Here's Carl Schmidt, an RBI single in the first inning. That's how Falmouth has scored its most recent run. Dylan Tate still on the mound for YD and delivers a first pitch strike. For the Commodores, too, in the bottom of that first inning, in which 4 straight runners get on board between 3 and 6. It's kind of offensive efficiency that we haven't seen consistently here at the Gov this season yet. Schmidt watches the pitch away. And for Carl, right-hander and former Texas A&M Aggie, who just finished up his first season at Cal. This is just his 3rd RBI on the young Cape League season. Petaluma, California native, making his 6th appearance this year for Falmouth.
Someone who didn't get off to a great start in opening night after we talked to him, an 0-for-4 effort with 3 strikeouts. Was pretty frustrated about that game and said he got to the cage early, stayed up late, was right back to work the next day.
Pops this one up into just fair territory. First baseman Dean Carpentier will come way into the infield grass to catch out number 2. And in that 1-0 win against Chatham, that was just a great day as well for Georgia right-hander and Chatham starting pitcher JT Quinn. Commodores have faced some of the teams' best pitchers on their best nights as well this season so far.
Even back-end bullpen guys as well. It's not your usual traditional starter bullpen kind of role here in the Cape. You'll see different guys used in different spots in different parts of the game. And it just happened you get JT Quinn, the Friday starter for George, on your first day on the Cape, especially with the adjustment of the wooden bat as well. It doesn't really help.
Here's David McCann into the left-handed batter's box. A 1 turns to an 0-2, especially early in the summer where your starters at an SEC school, including a Friday night SEC starter, that's limited innings those guys have early into the Cape League season before their college coaches bring them back in and say it's ready for the fall. There's the Virginia Tech catcher in McCann. Grounded out to Hakopian to end that big first inning for the Commodores, who scored 2 runs on 2 hits. McCann looks to not be the last batter in an inning for the second time tonight. Here's the 2-2 from Tate. McCann cracks it into center field. Straightaway goes down towards the fence, but no real trouble for the USC center fielder. Commodores go 2 consecutive innings with not much on the base pass and no runs to show. We're still tied at 2, entering the 4th inning here from Gov Fuller Field. You're watching Commodores baseball on Cape League TV.
Hi, I'm Michael Kasparian, president of the Falmouth Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber is here for the benefit of the whole community. Whether you're a local business or a visitor, Falmouth has endless offerings, from its beautiful beaches and historical sites to its local shopping and eateries. The Chamber bridges the 8 villages, providing visitors with all the tools to make their trip one to remember. Our visitor center is located in downtown Falmouth, just off of Main Street. Come by and meet our team. The Falmouth Chamber of Commerce, your community connection.
You can make any bat feel lighter by adding a velo puck knob. Instead of having to go get a whole entirely new bat, you can simply add the puck to it. Players can use this with any bat. It's basically going to shift the weight of the bat a little bit more towards the hands. Players are able to hit the ball a lot harder just by simply adding the puck on.
I'm Michael Gillen, right-handed pitcher from Clemson, and you're watching Commodore Baseball on Cape League TV.
You see the score tied at 2 between the Commodores and the Red Sox, which means it's time for some Doors trivia. Here's tonight's question. What year did Gov Fuller Field install that solar-powered LED scoreboard that you see in left field? Is it A, 2015, B, 2011, C, 2013, or D, 2007? That's a great question by our producer,
It's a
Dan
phenomenal
Papello.
question. Do you know the answer?
I heard earlier when they were making the question, they were saying it was a
Well,
question that I should know.
That's cheating.
I didn't hear an answer. I said it was a
okay.
question that they expected me to know.
Got it.
Which makes it look even worse that I have no idea. I think A, 2015 sounds about right.
I'm gonna go 13. I'm gonna go 13. We'll see.
I'll call it a decade-old scoreboard. As Matt Saucer into his 4th inning of work, he's got Texas A&M shortstop Chris Hakopian as his first due-up in this 2-2 game between the Red Sox and Commodores.
I'll only go 2013 because that's the year Jared Saltamacchio won a ring with the Red Sox.
So you think
against the Red Sox?
Oh, I see.
Not these Red Sox, but playing for the Red Sox.
So you think because Saltamacchio won a World Series with the Red Sox about an hour and a half up the road?
I'm connecting some crazy dots.
Yeah.
Is what I'm getting
Well,
at.
what I'm hearing from you, Andrew, is that the Commodores celebrated that World Series win. They're saying, hey, why don't we get a new scoreboard?
Yeah, well, maybe they knew 12 years later they'd get the guy that almost won it for them.
Hakopian rounds over to the third baseman, Schmidt. Over to Schmidt at first base. One gone in the top of the 4th.
See, that's just good planning to think out that stuff in ahead.
Just 12 years in advance.
Yeah.
A 12-year Major League Baseball veteran.
Yeah. See, all the numbers are connected.
Yep. All works out the right way. Just as it does for the Commodores defense, who gets Chris Hakopian to ground out to third to begin the 4th. Now here's the cleanup hitter in Alex Hernandez. Again on the ground on the left side, this time to the shortstop and Newstrom. 2 quick outs on the left side of the infield. The 2 of the Red Sox's most efficient and powerful hitters in this lineup, Chris Akopian and Alex Hernandez, both go down without much trouble. So Commodores lineup sent up the minimum in the bottom of the third. Now in the top of the fourth, it's Nolan Traeger with Yarmouth-Dennis, who looks to avoid doing the same. TCU catcher, grounded out to first base in his first plate appearance. Watch his first pitch upstairs. Look at there with Traeger. Count goes to 1-1. Both teams with some action in bullpens. We'll get numbers to them in just a moment. For Falmouth, looks like it's Matthew Dallas getting warm.
With the football, at least, not with the baseball.
Yep. See if Dallas would be next to make his first appearance for Falmouth this season. A guy who has experience pitching for the Commodores from 2024.
Maybe they're just playing catch, too. We're not exactly sure. They always have some fun out there.
Always a good time. Weekend baseball at the Gov.
I meant just pitchers in general. They have a lot of fun.
For Dallas, I would love, being close to the Heights Beach right here. You see him throwing around with Grayson Saunier. Those are two guys I would love to have as my beach football quarterbacks.
Who is your favorite out of all the interns?
At beach football?
Yeah. Played a couple times.
I remember the first and only home run, first and only touchdown our team scored was from me to you.
Yeah, we got blown out that game. I don't want to remember that.
Foul tip there from Nolan Traeger. Maybe some of these guys have beach football in their future tomorrow on the league-wide off day, first of the 2025 season.
It's a phenomenal game from our beat reporter, Noah Nussbaum. He had 3 picks that game.
This one in the air from Traeger, down to left center field for a base hit. Traeger's thinking 2 off the bat, but takes a big round around first base, watches it come in, and will head back towards first. Second hit of the game for YD, first since the second inning. Some action on the base pass late into the top of the fourth.
That danger has been 2 outs. Another bugaboo for Falmouth tonight. Even in that second frame, retire the first 2, then Miller gets on with the walk. Soldier belts the 2-run home run, and now another 2 outs piece of hitting for YD.
3 base runners today for the Red Sox. All have been aboard with 2 outs, as you say. Here's Cody Miller. He's Tennessee State third baseman, who, as you mentioned, the walk. He walked in the second inning with 2 gone. It's the first base runner of the day for YD. Now looks to be the fourth. Mentioned this YD lineup nearing a 270 average on the year. And at 4-2-1, winners of 3 straight games. It's a Red Sox team under Scott Pickrell that's feeling good right now with a bat in their hands. 0-1 is back on the left side of the infield, but gets through the gap for a base hit. 2 singles in succession for YD. Put a runner into scoring position for the first time today with the Red Sox, that being Nolan Traeger off of second. Cody Miller takes his spot at third for A.J. Soldra. He had that home run, a 2-run shot to tie things in the second.
Does this situation sound familiar at all? 2 outs, runners on.
And Soldra do it again for the second time in the last 3 innings. Any base needed for this Commodores infield. No action in the bullpen for Matt Saucer, the UCF right-hander. Into his 4th inning of work. Both teams now with 2 runs on 3 hits after that last one from Miller. Soldier's homer. The left fielder hitting it to left field, 382 feet. Nothing John Smith could do about it. Just to the left of that Gov Fuller Field scoreboard that was utilized for our Doors trivia question today. So Miller, the left-hander, or Soldier, the left-hander, after Miller got on base. He's got the second baseman, Osterhaus, backed way up. Potential ground ball his way. But this is the kind of jam that Saucer needs to prove he can get out of. 2 runners on in this tie game between Falmouth and YD. Saucer looks at the 2-2. Breaking ball on the ground. On the left side, Schmidt decides to go to second, but can't make the play in time. Osterhaus, though, thinks about trying to go tag Traeger. And that fielder's choice from Schmidt won't work. The bases are now loaded for YD.
That's going to go down as a fielder's choice and not an infield single. Just good hustle by Cody Miller to get to second base. A little bit of a similar play to Newstrom had earlier in the inning where it was a slow ground ball. Schmidt kind of takes an interesting angle of the ball. It was more so towards the mound as momentum was taking him, and Miller got a great jump off first. Bases loaded, 2 outs for YD.
So the bases loaded. Saucer facing some action on the base paths. Here's Todd Carroll to come out and talk with his right-hander, Matt Saucer. The whole infield will come in for Todd Carroll, who's celebrating his birthday today, the first-year pitching coach with the Commodores. Happy birthday to Todd Carroll as he makes his way over to have a conversation with Saucer. The first action begins in the Commodores' bullpen in this 2-2 tied game.
And this inning basically almost kind of feels like a do-over, if you will, for Saucer, where, again, as we alluded to, that second inning, both those runs coming with 2 outs. Same story here in the fourth, where you get the first 2 gone, and then 3 straight reach. As you hit the nail on the head, got to prove yourselves in a time like this.
You wanted to talk about deja vu with Soldier coming up with 2 gone. How about flashback to that second inning when the Commodores loaded the bases with 2 outs, but then YD forced all 3 to be stranded. Now, same situation, teams flip. Tie game with 2 gone. Here is Yomar Carreras, Rutgers Scarlet Knight in the lefty box. Pair of runs scored in the top of the second inning for YD after Falmouth scored the first 2 runs of this game in the bottom of the first. Now for the first time, Rutgers with a chance to take the lead. So over to Carreras. Saucer will lose it at his feet. And that's exactly what YD will do. Take the lead, but then catch Cody Miller in a pickle. Throw over to McCann. And they will take Miller down at home, but not before the run scores from third base and Nolan Traeger. A 3-2 YD lead entering the bottom of the fourth. An action-packed last play. We'll see if more is in store in the bottom of the fourth here on Cape League TV.
Get ready for big results with our small machines. With more power, performance, comfort, and savings. They're ready for every job. And we're ready with plenty of inventory, the best support in the business, same-day parts availability, and locations across the Northeast. So you can always be ready to work. Milton Cat, always ready.
Introducing Open Cape, the local nonprofit internet service provider in this region. Open Cape's fast and reliable network is 100% fiber optic, providing affordable internet connectivity. To learn more, visit opencape.org and always speak with a live Open Cape representative. Open Cape, providing choice and competition for your home or business and the official internet provider of your Falmouth Commodores.
We are Open Cape.
I'm Trevor Baumler, right-handed pitcher from TCU, and you're watching Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV.
A 3-2 YD lead. The Red Sox lead for the first time in this game. As you can see, our scoreboard telling the story. It's a scoreboard, Andrew, that was installed in 2015. That makes me 2-0 on Commodores Trivia Answers this season.
You can't get them all.
I like the story, though, with Jared Saltzlamakia, the new Commodores coach.
Maybe that's what our producer, Dan Papilla, was thinking, but maybe another day.
I think he knew that whole long, drawn-out 45-second story is exactly what you're going to think.
Yeah.
So that's why he put 2013
He's a
as
smart
the answer.
guy. What
He
can
got
I
you,
say?
got you
Smart
going
guy.
around. YD with a lead for the first time today. And so the Red Sox is still a new pitcher. It's the left-hander Ricky Ojeda, rising junior out of UC Irvine and Valencia, California.
This guy is flat out phenomenal to watch. Was a third-team All-American this past season, had a 13-1 record, 29 appearances, 83 strikeouts.
He's got 8, 9, and 1, 2 up here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Now a 2-1 count on the UCF left fielder in John Smith. Smith grounded out to third. And his lone plate appearance so far in the second. And Smith making that transfer from South Alabama, as you can see, Ricky Ojeda's stats. Already his 3rd appearance on the summer. Smith swings through the 91-mile-an-hour fastball. First strikeout on the first batter faced for Ojeda. 3rd strikeout for this Commodores team in game number 8 of the 2025 Cape League season.
And what I think of when I think of Ojeda is just flat out electric. A fastball can get into the mid-90s. Has topped out at 96 earlier this season. A lot of fun to watch.
National Pitcher of the Year watch list member at UC Irvine.
Also has a great 12-6 curveball in his 2 walks as well that only comes in at about 74, 75 miles per hour.
Yep.
When he brings out the hook, it's dangerous.
Uses the fastball there against Newstrom, again hitting 91. Was the first reliever to win Big West Pitcher of the Year this past spring with UC Irvine. Again, has yet to allow a run across 2 appearances so far this summer. Now making a 3rd. 3 1/3 innings combined across those first 2 appearances. A guy Scott Pickerel has used sparingly thus far, but 3rd appearance is a 3rd appearance. Someone that Pickerel likes to go to. In just 8 games. 1-2 to Newstrom. Inside, and Newstrom just gets out of the way. Mentioned the 3 strikeouts that Falmouth had as a team so far today. The second came in the 2nd inning by Chris Newstrom. And this one will be put into play towards the 3rd baseman and Miller. Zings it over to first, and it's Carpenter who can't make the scoop. Newstrom over to first base with 1 gone in the 4th. It'll go down as an error on the 3rd baseman, Cody Miller.
He tried to shuffle his feet a couple times, maybe a couple glove taps as well to get some momentum, taking that ball to first, but really tough play for Dean Carpenter to make over at first.
Regular depth there for Miller. Received that ground ball at 94 miles an hour off the bat of the rising sophomore Newstrom. Here's the rising junior Antonio Morales. Morales pulls back the bunt. It's still the lower 3rd of the zone for a strike. See right there, 0 for 1 on the day is the newest Maryland Terrapin. Strikeout and a walk, which Morales got stranded off of second. Be on the ground on the left side. This one gets through for a base hit with Morales. Station mover as Newstrom goes over to second. Morales over to first. It's the 4th hit of the day for the Commodores, and the first for the right fielder, Antonio Morales.
And that just shows off the skill set of Antonio Morales really well there, where he won't pack a whole lot of punch with the bat, but he is just a flat-out contact hitter that can really spread to any part of the field.
Raise that average for Morales over 285 on the season. Osterhaus will put this on the left side again. Miller will win the race over to first base. Toss over to second for 2, but Osterhaus beats out the throw. So runner at first and second becomes a runner at first and second now with a second out. Fielder's choice. Miller picks 3rd to get the lead runner. 2 gone in the bottom of the 4th. Still an opportunity for Mike Anu. Mike Anu's already proven so much here on Cape Cod. Tied for the Cape League lead, as we mentioned, with 3 homers. They came in 3 straight games. And will now get hit for a 2nd time.
That went a little bit slower.
Yeah.
Took about 93 to the head back in the first inning. That one, 70 miles on the curveball. Well, won't hurt as much. He didn't seem to be too rattled by the first one either. Said I'll shrug my shoulders and take my free 90 feet.
Yep. Always a smile on Mike Anu's face. And he didn't need an ice pack for the first pitch you were mentioning that plunked him. Probably won't need it for the second one. But for the second time tonight, here's Kent Schmidt, the Georgia Tech first baseman, with the bases loaded. Ken Schmidt, you see what he's done there so far today. An RBI single in the first inning when the bases were not loaded. And Mike Anu was at second base. Now Anu is at first base for the second straight time with Ken Schmidt. These are the same three who were on the base pass for Schmidt in his last plate appearance. It's Morales off of third, Osterhaus off of second, and Mike Anu at first. For Ken Schmidt, who's still looking for his first Cape League homer after a great season with Georgia Tech. If you remember back to that Oxford Regional, Andrew, in his final game with the Yellow Jackets, had his lone multi-home run game of the season in that losing effort for Georgia Tech.
His first multi-home run effort of his collegiate career.
Mm-hmm. The Georgia Southern transfer just finished up his first season playing in the ACC with the Yellow Jackets. And we'll see a backward strikeout right here. Well done by the new lefty and Ricky Ojeda. Commodores strand the bases loaded again for the second time in just the first 4 innings. It's still 3-2 Red Sox entering the top of the 5th on Cape League TV.
Hi, my name is Matt Burgess, General Manager here at Falmouth Country Club. We have a unique 27-hole public golf course with a beautiful layout that is family-oriented. Kids play free here at Falmouth Country Club. Getting on the course is quick and easy with our app. You can book tee times, get yardages with GPS, use our interactive scorecard, track your stats, and receive exclusive in-app offers. Falmouth Country Club is a true Cape Cod classic and a local family favorite.
See you on the course.
You'll always be safe at home with the Diana Lucevero Group at Compass Real Estate.
Hi, I'm Caden Neshman, a right-handed pitcher, graduated from Northern Kentucky and going to Kentucky, and you're watching Commodore Baseball.
Quick look at earlier today at Wacoya Congressional Church, where it was the annual Baseball Sunday event between the Commodores and Wacoya Congressional. A tradition that's taken place for over 15 years, in which they do a baseball-themed service. You see Landon Moran, Justin Osterhaus, and Ben Royo getting in on the fun. Our own videographer, Boone Gross, was there and called it one of the coolest church services he's been to. And a guy who's been pretty cool, both with the Commodores last season and Matthew Dallas. And Wake Forest, I should say, is Matthew Dallas.
Yeah, how about the return of Matthew Dallas back to Falmouth? Only pitched in 7 games last summer, all being in starts as well. Pretty solid in 25 innings of work. But now, after a pretty phenomenal season, I'd say, at Wake Forest, where he didn't get as much playing time as really we thought he would, with just the 3 starts, sub-4 ERA, a 2-0 record, though. And a nice, powerful arm that Falmouth gets back from a season ago.
Making the move from the SEC at Tennessee to ACC play with Wake Forest. Remember that last appearance he had, going 7 2/3 against Cincinnati. And a big win for the Demon Deacons. First pitch that Soldier sees is down the left field line into the trees, and that now belongs to an excited fan here for Sunday Night Baseball at Gulf Fuller Field. You get a look there. Check it. Dean Carpentier, the first baseman from USC, who grounded out to the shortstop Newstrom in this 3rd inning. Dallas used that as a consistent starter role with the Commodores last season. not in that small sample size with Wake Forest, but now making his first appearance of the summer in a relief role. And we saw field manager Jared Saltamaki and pitching coach Todd Carroll go to that move as well. During the last home game with Easton Barrett, consistent starter with Arizona State, but then he becomes great out of the bullpen for the Commodores. That's a starter turned reliever here in the summer, and that's exactly what's happening with Matthew Dallas in his first appearance on Cape Cod in 2025.
Also a large looming figure as well. 6'5", 200 pounds. Really terrifying for hitters. I wouldn't want to stand in the box against that guy.
And Dean Carpentier doesn't have to worry about that anymore. Changeup slows down to 86 miles an hour for the southpaw, and Matthew Dallas, who has his first Cape League strikeout in 2025. Carpentier, first strikeout victor for Matthew Dallas, who can replace Matt Saucer. His line is closed at 4 innings pitched, giving up 2 earned runs on 3 hits. Struck out 2 and walked 1. Had that 2-run homer given up to Adre Soldra. Lineup card flips over here to Braden Dowd. He's 0 for 2 today, as you can see on screen. Another strike delivered by Matthew Dallas. Again, the only returner on this Commodores team from the 2024 season as of now. Roster changing so fluidly for the Commodores. So on the ground, over to the third baseman and Schmidt, and throws over to the first baseman Schmidt. Slow rolling ground ball on the left side of the infield. Thought that one could have been Chris Newsham's for a moment at shortstop, but Carl Schmidt beat him to the spot.
Plenty of action over that left side of the infield. Haven't had a lot of hard hit balls at them. Got the hot corner over that third, but Schmidt has had some slow dribblers, 50, 55 miles per hour off the bat. Some off balance throws as well.
So now 2 gone in the top of the 5th inning. A 3-2 Yarmouth-Dennis lead following the run scored to end the 4th inning. Again, that was on a slow grounder to the pitcher and Saucer. Got bobbled at his feet, so Whitey took advantage and scored a run before a 1-5-2 play to get Cody Miller out running home. Second pitch to Georgia Tech designated hitter Will Baker is outside. 1 ball and 1 strike to the Yellow Jacket, who's 0 for 2 today. A strikeout in the first, fly out to left to end the third. So far, Dallas off to as efficient of a start that Matt Saucer had to begin this game, in which 3 straight Red Sox were retired at the top of the 1st inning. Slow look for Dallas. For the 2-1. Comes home. Chopper back over to Dallas, puts the glove up to the face, and will just run this one over to first base himself. Facing the minimum, Matthew Dallas has a quiet 5th inning. It's still a 3-2 Yarmouth-Dennis lead entering the bottom of the 5th, where Andrew Delapiano will talk to you then here on Cape League TV.
Hi, I'm Jim Murray, owner of Falmouth's historic Clam Shack, now Jim's Clam Shack. Located on scenic Falmouth Harbor, Jim's Clam Shack is a destination for the best seafood and sunsets on the Cape. We're open 7 days a week, so stop by for lunch or join us for dinner on the rooftop deck. Bring the entire family to try our wide selection of seafood and kid-friendly option. We deliver the freshest products to your plates daily. Jim's Clam Shack, proud supporter of the Falmouth Commodores.
Hi, I'm Michael Kasparian, president of the Falmouth Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber is here for the benefit of the whole community. Whether you're a local business or a visitor, Falmouth has endless offerings, from its beautiful beaches and historical sites to its local shopping and eateries. The Chamber bridges the 8 villages, providing visitors with all the tools to make their trip one to remember. Our visitor center is located in downtown Falmouth, just off of Main Street. Come by and meet our team. The Falmouth Chamber of Commerce, your community connection.
Hi, I'm Coleman Mizell, outfielder from Alabama, and you're watching Commodores baseball on KTV.
Enjoy all the action of the Cape Cod Baseball League by downloading the Cape League TV app on your mobile device and favorite TV streaming platform. You can now watch the Doors on your Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, and Android TVs. Cape League TV provides live and on-demand coverage of all games and feature content from the nation's best summer collegiate baseball league. Get in the game with Cape League TV. Well, we are well into this one in the bottom of the fifth. YD in front of Falmouth, 3-2. Lefty on lefty to begin this frame with Kyle Morrison taking on the left-hander and Ricky Ojeda after his second inning on the job. One ball, one strike to Morrison, who has reached safely once out of two plate appearances in this one after a hit by pitch back in the first, and a tremendous effort out in center field by Braden Down on a second plate appearance where he had to go over the shoulder to make that grab. Falmouth took a 2-0 lead in the bottom of the first. Whitey has responded with 3 unanswered. Falmouth has left the bases loaded 2 times in this ball game, once in the second and once last frame in the fourth, for a total of already 8 runners left on base. We talked about that plenty earlier in the telecast.
That's been 2 of the biggest issues for Falmouth so far this season. Amidst a 3-4 start, it's the runners in scoring position that we mentioned. 0 for 9 last night at Wareham as well. And then when runners are on, just too many runners left on base.
Ojeda catches Morrison looking for out number 1. Third strikeout already for Ojeda, and there's 1 gone. Ojeda's been that early impactful guy out of the bullpen so far this summer for Scott Pickler, and has yet to allow a run in over 4 innings of work in 3 appearances. Chopper, third base side, tough play for Miller, can't make it. Infield single for Carl Schmidt, and there's a runner on first with 1 out.
Yeah, they'll call that one a base hit, as Cody Miller has gotten a lot of action at third base today for Yarmouth-Dennis. A slow chopper that forces him to come well into the infield grass. But it's going to be a single for Carl Schmidt, his second of the day.
Now Schmidt has faced a couple of those small hoppers his way over at third a lot in this ball game, so nice to have that shoe on the other foot. Check over at first. Good speed over at first with Carl Schmidt. Does have a stolen base already this season. Had a handful in his redshirt sophomore season at Cal. Here's David McCann. A large looming breaking ball drops in nicely for Ojeda.
Slows it all the way down to 68 miles an hour.
That starts at about McCann's head and then drops in just below the letters. Another check over. Not in time. Ojeda's got a nice pickoff move where he barely even takes that left foot off the bump. And Schmidt's got to be careful.
There's been a couple of close pickoff attempts already for YD. We saw the TCU catcher Nolan Traeger almost catch, I think it was Morales off of third base. Ojeda using his advantage as a left-hander to throw over at first. That was a quick read as well to snap it over to Carpentier.
You want to catch those runners when they're least expecting it, a couple steps over. And as soon as you come set, you toss it over. Infield shift on once again for McCann, who is 0 for 2 in tonight's ball game. Goes back to the breaking ball and catches him looking, and only McCann do is sit and watch.
Really nice location on the 69-mile-an-hour breaking ball from Ojeda. And going back to that well a few times that at-bat against McCann, who's struck out now for the first time today.
You're just expecting that 95-mile-per-hour fastball. He brings out that. You walk back to the dugout saying, what else can I do? 2 gone with a runner on first for John Smith, who's only seen now a total of 3 pitches. Not just yet. Another check over at Schmidt. First 2 at-bats have gone ground out to third on 1 pitch, and then also a ground out as well for Schmidt over at second. Takes this one up and away for ball 1. Schmidt out in left field for this one. Recent commit to the University of Central Florida after 1 season at South Alabama. Schmidt didn't like that call. And it's been held to just 1 for 16 so far in this young season. 8 total strikeouts so far for the newest Knight. Off the end of the bat, slicing foul out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Schmidt had an 0 for 3 effort 2 nights ago in the victory over Orleans. Ojeda another check over at first, and Schmidt getting that jersey pretty dirty. It was all white when it started the at-bat. That's not the case anymore. You can barely even read Falmouth. Strike 3. 3 Ks in the inning for Ojeda. And Falmouth leaves another runner on base for 9 total left on base in this ball game. We'll go to the top of the 6th. We'll be joined by a special guest and a national champion, if you will. We'll tell you on the other side who that is, as YD leads Falmouth 3-2 after 5 here on Cape League TV.
Hi, I'm Jim Murray, owner of Falmouth's historic Clam Shack, now Jim's Clam Shack. Located on scenic Falmouth Harbor, Jim's Clam Shack is a destination for the best seafood and sunsets on the Cape. We're open 7 days a week, so stop by for lunch or join us for dinner on the rooftop deck. Bring the entire family to try our wide selection of seafood and kid-friendly option. We deliver the freshest products to your plates daily. Jim's Clam Shack, proud supporter of the Falmouth Commodores.
Are you looking for that perfect pregame meal? Supreme Pizza has you covered. Its extensive menu has everything from pies and calzones to salads and subs. And with its online ordering system, delicious food is just 1 click away.
It's an honor to support the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Supreme Pizza is open every day of the week. Order online or stop by their store located at 147 T-Ticket Highway and try a slice today.
Hi, I'm Coleman Mizell, outfielder from Alabama, and you're watching Commodores Baseball on Cape TV.
Commodores baseball rolls on here from the Gub with YD in front of Falmouth 3-2 after 5 innings. We are now joined in the booth by a special guest, Devin Sheeran, a now national champion from LSU. Instant reaction, the boys getting it done today in Omaha.
It was great. I've been trying to do my best here with the games. We got games at the same time they do practically every day, but I've been trying to do my best to watch on the phone and any chance I can get. But being there since the fall and just rehabbing the whole season, just watching them go out there and do what they do every single day. I had nothing but confidence that we were going to win this thing when it was said and done.
And I know you spent this season with the torn ACL, your red shirt this year. But to watch that team develop over the season, especially in the NCAA tournament, this team was nearly knocked out by Little Rock in the regional round. To see this team now win a national championship, how's the development been for the Tigers so far?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that Coach Johnson preaches to us, too, is that every team has to go through some sort of adversity. So, it's not going to be an easy road to a national championship. No matter who you are, you can put good play there.
What a grab by Justin Osterhaus over at second. Had to leap up midair to make that play.
So, as I was saying, he preaches to us that all the time about, every team has to go through some sort of adversity. And, I think, honestly, getting through that regional and then once we were through that regional, I don't think anybody was stopping us at that point.
So entering Saturday, it's the championship against Coastal Carolina, and you see Chanticleer's team that's won 26 straight games against LSU. What were just your thoughts going into that final College World Series for your LSU Tigers?
Yeah, I was excited. Obviously, we don't really get a chance to play Coastal in the regular season because, they're from a different division and it's not very close. So that was just, really exciting. I have a couple friends that pitch for Coastal, so it was cool to, see them coming into, they were originally, some of the predictions were they were going to come to us for a super, but that never happened. But, it was just great to see that matchup.
And also with your roommate, Anthony Iacin, getting the start here in Game 2. Yeah. You've mentioned you've gotten extremely close over the last couple of years with him being your roommate now. What's the best piece of advice he's given you now?
Yeah, I think the best piece of advice Anthony's given me personally is just just always keep doing the right things. Like, even if nobody's watching, they stack up and they'll add up over time. You always just got to bet on yourself,
You spent your first year in Baton Rouge, coming over from Mount St. Mary's. What was the biggest difference you noticed in that LSU locker room of a reason why they have that national championship identity, winning an 8th title now?
Yeah, I think, the reason, the biggest thing from coming to Mount St. Mary's, or coming from Mount St. Mary's to LSU was, and me and Ant talked about that all the time, was actually, just a mental game and, the fact that there's so much more to baseball than just, throwing the ball. And there's so much more to pitching than just your physical abilities.
Well, you got the relief appearance out of the bullpen last night. Devin Sheeran joining us in the booth here in the 6th inning. You were pumping that fastball, and what goes into, again, just throwing a baseball so fast for you?
Honestly, I really don't think about throwing it
Really?
all that fast. I don't really try to throw it that hard, but the thing is, biggest thing for me now is I started, throwing sinkers instead of 4-seams. So I'm just trying to, get my arm loose, and once everything gets in mechanically and sound, I think that's the biggest thing. That's also the biggest difference from last year to now this year with my pitching is trying to rely more on mechanics so that I can create a consistent windup, and not just trying to force it in there,
Well, Matthew Dallas gets the job done. 1-2-3 in this frame for Falmouth. We'll take a short break here with the Red Sox leading 3-2 over the Commodores. We'll be right back after this.
Hi, I'm Michael Kasparian, president of the Falmouth Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber is here for the benefit of the whole community. Whether you're a local business or a visitor, Falmouth has endless offerings, from its beautiful beaches and historical sites to its local shopping and eateries. The Chamber bridges the 8 villages, providing visitors with all the tools to make their trip one to remember. Our visitor center is located in downtown Falmouth, just off of Main Street. Come by and meet our team. The Falmouth Chamber of Commerce, your community connection.
Hi, my name is Matt Burgess, General Manager here at Falmouth Country Club. We have a unique 27-hole public golf course with a beautiful layout that is family-oriented. Kids play free here at Falmouth Country Club. Getting on the course is quick and easy with our app. You can book tee times, get yardages with GPS, use our interactive scorecard, track your stats, and receive exclusive in-app offers. Falmouth Country Club is a true Cape Cod classic and a local family favorite.
See you on the course.
Hi, I'm Coleman Mizell, outfielder from Alabama, and you're watching Commodores baseball on
Right in
KTV.
town, right?
Final half of the 6th from Gov Fuller Field. Back alongside Ryan Martin, Andrew Delapiana, and once again, Devin Shearer stays with us, the newest national champion from LSU. We just talked about your recent reaction to that. With this team so far, what's been the biggest adjustment for you living here on Cape Cod?
I think the biggest adjustment here on Cape Cod is kind of the weather. The first week, honestly, after coming from Louisiana, it was a little rough. We had that rain, and it was kind of in the 60s for a little bit. But now, we're getting some beautiful weather. So I think, weather-wise, we're doing a lot better.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we know that there's ice cream, of course, Cape Cod League baseball. What's been the most fun thing to do off the field when that weather is nice?
I'm a big beach guy. Personally, I love going to the beach, so I think that might be my favorite thing. I haven't really gotten a chance to go much, but, tomorrow being the off day, it might be a beach day.
Yeah, it's supposed to be, 85 degrees?
Yeah,
and
really.
for Falmouth weather, 85 means a real feel of, 92, 93?
Ooh, that's beautiful.
Could be beautiful. You got a lot of options with the Heights Beach, Old Silver Beach.
Oh, yeah.
I want to go back to you're mentioning your pitching philosophy, and you're not just trying to throw as hard as you can, hit the highest velo. Is that something that comes about at LSU of we're not just trying to hit the highest number, but really have good arm mechanics and looking at different metrics to get the best pitching angle possible?
Yeah, I don't know necessarily if it comes from LSU, but, they do tell us that, it's not really about how hard you throw, and we call it getting primal,
yeah.
And getting primal and getting outside of yourself. You just got to stay within yourself and keep the same mechanics every single time and try to, not throw a better pitch, but throw another one, and just move your sights and not trying to do too much. Just staying within yourself is the biggest thing I think I've learned.
So we've seen already a couple times today as well. Commodores have had bases loaded and gotten out of the inning, and same thing with YD. Does that change your mindset as a pitcher on the mound, especially in a relief role, coming into those pressure situations when there's nowhere to put them?
Yeah, I think, especially coming out of the bullpen, you want to attack hitters, and you don't want to. You don't want to walk a guy at all, ever. Especially when you're high velo. For me personally, high velo. 95% of the time, if you throw it down the middle, it's going to be not hit far. So, like 5% of the time they might get a hit if you throw it down the strike zone every single time.
And
so.
you mentioned to us a little bit earlier this season that you're going to be a different pitcher after this torn
Yeah.
ACL. What kind of adjustments are you making to maybe get back to the form you're looking to get to?
Yeah, I think there's a couple things I still have to work on. Getting the off speed a lot sharper, and get my shapes more consistent. But I'm just excited right now to be out there and just be able to play again. It's been a long journey to get healthy, but I think it paid off in the long run, and kind of was almost like a silver lining in a way.
So we talked about some coaching philosophies at LSU, but being on Cape Cod while LSU was winning that 8th national championship in program history, you got Todd Carroll as your pitching coach here. His birthday today on June 22nd. What have you best learned from him as you try to get back from this torn ACL?
Yeah, I think he tells me to just trust my stuff and just throw it down the middle because, especially with now I'm throwing sinkers, the ball's going to move. So if you start it in the middle, it's not going to necessarily end up in the middle. So I think that's like the biggest thing he's taught me is just like with every pitch, throwing it with trying to throw it through the catcher and not just throwing it and placing it.
He's got that black sweatshirt that wears pregame. It says like win 0-0 counts or win the zone. It seems like a simplistic mindset. Is that something they'll teach you guys in the pen?
Yeah. He says, you got to win the strike zone like you can. You got to win the 0 counts, the 1-1 counts, the important counts. And, we talk about that at LSU all the time, like getting ahead, getting the first 2 out of 3, and that's like basically the simple equation to winning.
Need that on a baseballism sweatshirt.
We'll get one of you.
6 plus 4 equals 2.
You definitely had that shirt growing up, didn't you?
I did.
Oh, yeah, I did
don't
too.
blame you at all.
Played second base, but
yeah, I got you. Antonio Morales with 1 out, 2-1 count to a new pitcher on the mound for YD, and Derek Schaefer making his second appearance of the summer.
Talked about learning from Todd Carroll. What's it been like to work as well with a guy with 12 years of Major League Baseball catching experience and Jared Salsamakia as the head field manager? Is it what you expected in Falmouth so far?
Yeah, I knew coming in that it was going to be a fun time playing with Coach Jared, but it's just he has so much experience and so much baseball knowledge and, just so much life experience too. He's been through it. He played in the big leagues. Like, there's nobody better to learn from and play under, in my opinion.
You had the chance to throw a bullpen at Fenway early in the week. What was that experience like?
Oh, well, I didn't necessarily throw a bullpen that day, but it was really fun. I actually got a video of me running around first person on my phone and catching the ball, so that was a pretty good memory right there.
Your first time at Fenway?
Yeah, it was my first time at Fenway.
Pretty good way to spend your first time at Fenway.
Oh, yeah, I will say, though, the wooden seats, the seats from the 1900s.
The grandstand, yeah.
Yeah, I don't fit in those seats. So
I'm not surprised.
They didn't make people this big back then, I guess.
I don't think so, no. Oldest seats in baseball.
Well, maybe you're a little unlucky here. We got back-to-back 1, 2, 3 innings. Wish we could spend some more time with you, but unfortunately, your time has come to an end here in the booth. We'll wish you well on the rest of the season. Falmouth trailing 3-2 here on Cape League TV. We'll be right back after these messages.
You'll always be safe at home with the Diana Lucevero Group at Compass Real Estate.
Introducing Open Cape, the local nonprofit internet service provider in this region. Open Cape's fast and reliable network is 100% fiber optic, providing affordable internet connectivity. To learn more, visit opencape.org and always speak with a live Open Cape representative. Open Cape, providing choice and competition for your home or business and the official internet provider of your Falmouth Commodores.
We are Open Cape.
I'm Michael Gillen, right-handed pitcher from Clemson, and you're watching Commodore Baseball on Cape League TV.
Red Sox after 2/3 of baseball here from Gov Fuller Field. Back alongside Ryan Martin. I'm Andrew Delpiana. A huge thank you to Devin Sheeran taking some time to join us on tonight's broadcast. Very insightful stuff from now the newest national champion after the Tigers sweep the Shots 2-0 in the final round of the College World Series. And kind of a heartbreaking finish there for Coastal. 26 wins entering the College World Series. had that snap, of course, and then losing back-to-back games. And how about their manager, too, getting ejected in the first inning of today's game? Yeah, it's not a great recipe for success.
Causing LSU fans just to dance like we see at Homer's Dance Party here. But you mentioned the Seans, 26 consecutive wins, but then lose the 2 that mattered most in succession. A weird game, interesting. We were watching that ejection go down bottom of the first inning, and you lose your head coach for the Seans. That's not exactly what the doctor ordered for Coastal Carolina after losing that first game yesterday.
Well, a pretty fun College World Series and college baseball season overall. We'll just have to wait until next spring for some more, school ball. Of course, the rest of the summer, we got these terrific student athletes showing their talents out here on the diamond on Cape Cod. Matthew Dallas still out there for Falmouth. 2 scoreless frames so far with a strikeout. He's down in the count, 2 balls and 1 strike to Cody Miller.
That bittersweet ending of the Men's College World Series, though, does mean that some of those best players on the best teams in the country now find themselves in the Premier Summer League. You see a lot of those players will flood down after getting things settled and seeing their season end in Omaha.
Cody Miller, a member of the All-SoCon second team this past season. Hot shot up the middle. Another great snag from Matthew Dallas. That is his 4th putout of the game from that position. That's unbelievable.
And then did he just flash the number 4 to the Commodores dugout?
Yeah, he knows.
Making sure everyone knows he's got those reflexes. They teach the tennis ball drills in Winston-Salem.
Not a game a lot of pitchers like to play. You don't go to a carnival and say, hey, throw the balls at me instead of the cans. When Matthew Dallas has been really solid so far and has retired 7 straight to begin his outing out of the bullpen. Here is Adre Soldra.
That's 3 consecutive ground balls that Dallas has had as well.
2 ended the top of the 6th and 1 to start the 7th as well. Soldra, the transfer from the New Jersey Institute of Technology. Breaking ball drops in beautifully for Dallas. He was a part of the America East All-Rookie team his freshman season. Only hit 4 home runs that freshman year with a .333 average. Swings right through the slider there. Pelted his first home run of the summer back on Friday in the 9-2 victory over Chatham. Part of a 3-run bottom of the 6th. Broke that game open. Part of this 3-game win streak for the Red Sox. Jam this one here. 1 hopper controlled by Newstrom. Across the diamond in time for out number 2.
That breaks the streak of groundouts that go towards the pitcher Matthew Dallas, but
I think he'd be all right with that.
It's also the 7th straight groundout induced by Dallas. Across those batters, or you go from Dallas to what we saw at the end of Saucer. It's been a groundout heavy game. This infield's been busy today for the Commodores.
His second summer in Falmouth. Made 6 appearances in 2024, a sub-6 ERA. Back here with year 2, here at the Guff. 8-hitter Yomar Carreras steps in for YD.
Across those 6 games, became a fan favorite for Commodores fans. Grew out the hair a little bit more in the back. Was a recognizable figure, especially on the road.
Carreras 0 for 2 today, reaching on an error back in the 4th. Just wrapping up his freshman year at Rutgers. Turns 19 years old in September. Was part of the Big Ten All-Freshman team this past year and was named to the watch list of the best college shortstop in the country. Dallas looking to go 9 up, now 9 down. And he does so with a breaking ball. What a relief appearance it's been so far for Matthew Dallas. Commodores still trail by 1 as it is time to stretch. And we will hear a rendition of America the Beautiful after this.
To sing America the Beautiful, written by Catherine Lee Bates, the American author and poet, born and raised right here in Falmouth, Massachusetts. Please welcome from the College Light Opera Company, the soloist, Singing tonight is Alex Ceremonies from College Light Opera Company. Alex is 19 years old from Plymouth, Massachusetts. She is a rising sophomore at Belmont University, studying music business. This is her second year with the College Light Opera Company and the first on the business team. Alex, whenever you're ready.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plains. America, God sheds his grace on thee and crowns thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
Are you looking for that perfect pregame meal? Supreme Pizza has you covered. Its extensive menu has everything from pies and calzones to salads and subs. And with its online ordering system, delicious food is just one click away.
It's an honor to support the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Supreme Pizza is open every day of the week. Order online or stop by their store located at 147 T-Ticket Highway and try a slice today.
Hi, I'm Michael Kasparian, president of the Falmouth Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber is here for the benefit of the whole community. Whether you're a local business or a visitor, Falmouth has endless offerings, from its beautiful beaches and historical sites to its local shopping and eateries. The Chamber bridges the 8 villages, providing visitors with all the tools to make their trip one to remember. Our visitor center is located in downtown Falmouth, just off of Main Street. Come by and meet our team. The Falmouth Chamber of Commerce, your community connection.
I'm Trevor Baumler, right-handed pitcher from TCU, and you're watching Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV.
Mike Anu, the guy you see there, could be in place for a Cape Cod League All-Star appearance, where those players will shine once more on July 19th at Red Wilson Field in Yarmouth for the 2025 Cape Cod Baseball League All-Star Game. Don't miss any action-packed day of All-Star Day festivities. Buy your ticket today at CapeCodBaseballStore.org. And for good reason, Mike Anu has been mashing the baseball in these first 8 games. Tied for first in the league in home runs with 3. Yet to register an at-bat tonight. That's because he's got 2 hit-by pitches and a walk. Lays down this bunt, third base side. Going to be a tough play for Miller. And New beats it out with ease. So have yourself a night, Mike Anu. The infield single thanks to the bunt. And he's now 1 for 1.
You knew that speed was on display when he stole the first bag of this game, swiping second on the TCU catcher Nolan Traeger. Yeah, what an interesting night now. Threw 4 times up the dish, a hit by pitch where he got walked and scored, where he got on and scored, then the walk, and then another hit by pitch, as you say, and then the bunt single.
Derek Schaefer back out there for another inning of work for YD. Checks over at New, back in safely. Schaffer in that last inning of work just allowed the 1 hit. His first pitch to Kent Schmidt is a fastball. Infield shifted to the right for the power hitting Schmidt, who's left 6 runners on base tonight after a couple of plate appearances, leaving the bases loaded. One of them a strikeout looking back in the 4th, and then they pop up to the third baseman Miller.
I think he's going to switch out bats here as well.
Change the luck just a little bit?
Maybe.
Or just put a little pine tar on it. That usually helps.
Yep. Make the gloves a little stickier. Maybe they were sticky in his first plate appearance when he had the RBI single to score Mike Anu.
Schmidt just wrapping up his sophomore season with Georgia Tech. Turned 20 years old just a week ago. Down in the count, 0-2. News back in with a dive. A little bit of a steal threat over there at first. Does have one this summer and had a handful this past year at Marshall before entering his name into the transfer portal just yesterday. Breaking ball just outside. Tough take from Schmidt.
I think New's a guy who you see a guy like Justin Osterhaus making that jump up to Power 5 from Purdue, Fort Wayne, and Alabama. Same thing with John Smith, the most recent commit in the transfer portal for the Commodores, going from South Alabama to UCF. I think New could make that Power 5 jump with what we've seen so far in Falmouth and at Marshall.
Has already set the tone pretty well here this summer for teams to be calling his phone. Top 5 in runs scored, slugging percentage, OPS as well. Very unlike him last night, going 0 for 5 with a strikeout and the loss to the Gateman. Another 1-2 on the way. New takes off, and it's a deep fly ball to left field. Dowd, couple steps back underneath it, and makes the grab. A loud first out for Kent Schmidt.
That one looked good off the bat by Schmidt after putting on the pine tar, but just got the end of the tip for the lefty swinging. First baseman. Get another piece of hitting where New had a great jump off of first base. That could have been first to home if it somehow found some outfield grass amidst the center fielder, Braden Dowd.
Kyle Morrison digs in for at bat number 3. He is 0 for 2 in this one. A strikeout back in the 5th. Deep fly out to center to Braden Dowd, who just made that grab. Did so over his shoulder to lead off that frame. New takes off once more. It's a called strike. The throw down to second. Not in time. It's a stolen base for Micah New. And once again, there's a runner in scoring position for Falmouth.
Good jump towards second, but nothing new for Micah New, his second time stealing second base today. And that put him in scoring position for the RBI single in the first inning for Ken Schmidt. Now can it do the same with Kyle Morrison?
Bouncer in the dirt, nicely blocked by Traeger, and keeps it in front of him.
And New was well off of second base. Chris Akopian, the shortstop, put his hand up to make sure that Traeger didn't throw down. But if Akopian was ready, I think that one would have gotten New.
Traeger, an invite to USA Baseball's Collegiate National Team Training Camp, which starts next week. Pick off to second. Schaefer has been playing with his food a couple times. Has yet to catch Micah New on, feels like 4 or 5 pickoff moves to first and second. Kyle Morrison still looking for that big hit. He's 3 for 20 this season with just 1 RBI. Laces it into deep left field. Soldo racing back to the track to the wall, makes the grab just in front of the fence. New tags up from second in there safely. And some serious power in this frame from Schmidt and Morrison. Results in just 2 long flyouts, though.
It's a couple loud flyouts to the outfield that Derek Schaefer has induced now for YD. That one going 343 feet into left center field for Morrison. You mentioned that 1 RBI he had. It was a home run the last time the Doors were here at Gov Fuller Field against Orleans. And that one, for a second, if it got more of the barrel in the wooden bat, looked like could have been gone, too.
Here's the guy that's got the only multi-hit effort in this one for Falmouth, and Carl Schmidt. Schaefer starts him off with a strike. So far for Falmouth, 2 for 7 with runners in scoring position. 6 for 58 entering tonight. Schmidt powers it towards center. Dowd a couple steps over and he makes the play for out number 3. Falmouth strands a runner at third and cannot tie the ball game. We go to the 8th with YD in front of Falmouth, 3-2 after 7. We'll be right back after these messages on Cape League TV.
Introducing Open Cape, the local nonprofit internet service provider in this region. Open Cape's fast and reliable network is 100% fiber optic, providing affordable internet connectivity. To learn more, visit opencape.org and always speak with a live Open Cape representative. Open Cape, providing choice and competition for your home or business and the official internet provider of your Falmouth Commodores.
We are Open Cape.
Hi, my name is Matt Burgess, General Manager here at Falmouth Country Club. We have a unique 27-hole public golf course with a beautiful layout that is family-oriented. Kids play free here at Falmouth Country Club. Getting on the course is quick and easy with our app. You can book tee times, get yardages with GPS, use our interactive scorecard, track your stats, and receive exclusive in-app offers. Falmouth Country Club is a true Cape Cod classic and a local family favorite.
See you on the course.
Hi, I'm Landon Moran, first baseman outfielder from Stetson University, and you're watching Commodore Baseball on Cape League TV.
Top of the 8th, Red Sox 3, Commodores 2, back here on Cape League TV alongside Ryan Martin. I'm Andrew Delpiano. Let's take a look at that upcoming schedule for the Commodores. The off day tomorrow. Thursday, another off day sandwiched in between Hyannis and Bourne. First trip up to take on the Braves. He's won a couple of division titles in the last couple of years. Chatham to end the week next week. Just good to see no more Brewster for a couple of days.
There's a lot of Brewster on the schedule. I've seen Orleans a couple of times. We've been more friendly to the Commodores. Falmouth 2-0 against Orleans so far this year, but you'll see a good dosage of the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, who tied this YD team, and that's the only tie, along with 2 losses on the schedule for the West Division leader, Hyannis. That's a 4-2-1 record.
Matthew Dallas back out there for Falmouth. And that ball roped into left, hooking foul. A loud foul ball from Dean Carpenter to start off the 8th inning.
Again, we mentioned it on Friday when Ben Haller is here on the call, but always interesting to see how the away team's bullpen positions their bullpen down the left field line here at Gov Fuller Field. YD deciding to be up on the hill just past the left field foul pole. That one was heading right their way off the bat of the righty and Dowd.
Carpentier 0 for 2 in this one with a strikeout. Back in the 5th inning. Was the first run retired from Matthew Dallas, who has seen 9 hitters and retired all 9. Down in the count 3-1.
Picking up where he left off last summer, one of the best 2024 Commodores across 6 appearances.
Carpentier from Huntington Beach, California, really known for their surfing program. 3-1, slapped the other way, foul. He went to high school with Wareham's Colby Turner, who we didn't see in that game last night, but his dad, Ryan, is in the Surfers Hall of Fame. He was the captain of their high school surf team. 3-2, Dallas fools him. His second strikeout, and there's one gone in the 8th.
Second strikeout comes consecutively as well for Matthew Dallas. Slows it down to 74 miles an hour atop the zone and gets the 9-hole hitter in Carpentier to go around. But imagine a surf team at your high school. It's got to be a pretty cool sport to take part in.
Those waves got to be pretty gnarly at Huntington Beach, don't they?
Yeah.
You ever tried it?
Can't say I have.
Me either.
More than recreationally.
Braden Dowd 0 for 3 in this one. Just 3 hits total for YD. One from Dallas. Goes to the breaking ball. Dowd rolls it over first base side. Easy play for Kent Schmidt. 2 gone in the 8th. It has been smooth sailing so far for Matthew Dallas in his return to Falmouth.
Looked like there's a few Commodores arms right there in the bullpen. You see Joe Sabbath with the baseball and glove in his hand, but not really too much to stretch or warm up about right now, Andrew, with Dallas having retired 11 straight batters.
Will Baker tries to lay down the bunt, can't do so. Another Ofer in the lineup for the Red Sox.
A little bit of everything so far as well. Strikeout, fly out, and ground out.
That last hit coming in the 4th inning thanks to Cody Miller. Check swing, did he go around? Yes, he did. Says home plate umpire Pablo Bustamante. How about Matthew Dallas? Has seen 11 hitters, retired all 11. Ahead in the count 0-2 to Will Baker. Can he make it 12 for 12? Will Baker, one of 2 Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets in the lineup. A couple spots down is Alex Hernandez. Baker tied for 7th in the league in hits right now. 1-2 is upstairs. 2 balls, 2 strikes. A native of Australia.
Wonder if there's any good surfing down there.
I know they got that big coral reef there.
Right.
Maybe that gets in the way. Baker stays alive. 2-2 count, 2 outs to number 2. YD clinging to a 1-run lead over Falmouth in the top of the 8th.
Queensland, Australia to Atlanta, Georgia. Must be quite an interesting jump.
Probably a long flight. It's a dozen for Dallas. 12 up, 12 down out of the bullpen. Doesn't get much easier than that. Giving Falmouth a chance with the bats, but can they answer the bell? We go to the bottom of the 8th. YD 3, Falmouth 2. We'll be right back on Cape League TV.
Hi, I'm Jim Murray, owner of Falmouth's historic clam shack, now Jim's Clam Shack. Located on scenic Falmouth Harbor, Jim's Clam Shack is a destination for the best seafood and sunsets on the Cape. We're open 7 days a week, so stop by for lunch or join us for dinner on the rooftop deck. Bring the entire family to try our wide selection of seafood and kid-friendly options. We deliver the freshest products to your plates daily. Jim's Clam Shack, proud supporter of the Falmouth Commodores.
You'll always be safe at home with the Diana Lucevero Group at Compass Real Estate.
I'm Adrian Lopez. I'm an infielder from the University of Southern California, and you're watching Commodore Baseball on Cape League TV.
Commodores fans, join us on Thursday, July 10th to meet those guys, the coaches. Get to know new field manager Jared Soltomacchia and the rest of the coaching staff at this can't-miss event. Head to falmouthcommodores.org for more information. Should be a lot of fun at that one. We'll be there as well to meet all the Commodores fans and Jared Soltomacchia trying to will his team to victory. Bottom 8, Commodores trailing 3-2 to the Red Sox. And first meeting of the season between these two teams. 7, 8, 9 due up for Falmouth in this frame. Another inning on the job for Derek Schaefer. It's been solid so far for the rising junior out of Arizona State.
Couple of good Sun Devil arms over the last couple of games here at Gov Fuller Field. Saw Easton Barrett, the lefty, pitch a really good game out of the bullpen against Orleans on Friday. And now it's Schaefer doing more of the same.
Barrett, in his first appearance with Falmouth, just the 1 earned run in 4 innings of work, 6 strikeouts. Schaefer's been pretty solid, 2 through 2 innings on the job with just the 1 hit allowed. McCann elevates deep to right field. You can forget about this one. Oh my, people take vacation shorter than that one. David McCann ties the ball game at 3.
The first real no-doubt homer at Gov Fuller Field this season comes courtesy of the Hokie and David McCann to deep right field. That one was a no-doubter off the bat. Dropped it on his way over 372 feet over the ace ticket sign in right field.
And for the first time since the second inning, this ball game is even, thanks to the first RBI of the season for David McCann. John Smith looking to follow.
We've now talked all season and into the season about this catching group under 12-year Major League catcher Jared Saltalamacchia. 2 homers for Bear Harrison. Mark Quattroni hit one out against Orleans here on Friday. Now, David McCann makes it 3 for 3 for this group.
9 home runs for Falmouth this season. That is by far the most in the league. Just probably feels good to have one not against Orleans as well. 7 of the 8 against the Firebirds. Smith fooled on a breaking ball from Schaeffler, and there's one gone in the 8th.
We talked a little bit before as well. Now, 9 home runs, if it's too concentrated of the Commodores' offense, as you're relying too much on the long ball for this team that's 3-4 on the season. But again, now make it 7 hits for the Commodores. We've seen a couple nice RBI singles as well early into this one for Falmouth.
And you'll never complain about utilizing the long ball. Pitch taken upstairs to Chris Newstrom in the 9th spot.
Love the momentum aspect as well. A homer in front of your home fans on a weekend night game brings.
Big sigh relief from McCann as well. Off the end of the bat for Newstrom. Easy play for Schaeffler. Tosses over to first, and there is 2 gone. How about the pitchers getting a lot of work in this one, Ryan? We saw 4 putouts from Matthew Dallas. 3 of them consecutive.
It's another thing you need on a Baseballism t-shirt. Pitchers are athletes too. These relievers trying to prove something here, including this Sun Devil and Schaefer.
Sounds like you're going to get a lot of merchandise after this one.
Our marketing interns can know where to find me.
We'll get the motto from Todd Carroll about win the zone, the pitching coach for Falmouth. And then pitchers are athletes too on the other one. You want them together or separate?
Could be a front-back thing.
All right. We'll make it work.
Both talking about pitchers.
We'll make it work.
Controlling the zone.
Morales skies a ball into left center field. Dowd a couple steps to his right, reels it in. It's out number 3. But the damage done. David McCann, his first RBI of the season, has tied us at 3 apiece as we go to the final frame of this one. 3-3 between the Red Sox and the Doors. We'll be right back on Cape League TV.
Are you looking for that perfect pregame meal? Supreme Pizza has you covered. Its extensive menu has everything from pies and calzones to salads and subs. And with its online ordering system, delicious food is just 1 click away.
It's an honor to support the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Supreme Pizza is open every day of the week. Order online or stop by their store located at 147 T-Ticket Highway and try a slice today.
You'll always be safe at home with the Diana Lucevero Group at Compass Real Estate.
I'm Ben Royo, shortstop from Texas A&M, and you're watching Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV.
We are through 8 at Gov Fuller Field. This one tied up at 3 apiece thanks to David McCann, who catches for the new reliever for Falmouth in the rising junior from Rhode Island, Joe Sabbath, who has been phenomenal in his 2 appearances. Has not yet allowed a run 3 strikeouts, no walks. He's been Jared Soltamakia's guy. When you go to the 9th inning, you need a shutdown inning. 11 till you go to.
And his battery mate, David McCann, just tied this game at 3 in that last half inning with a solo homer. So another high-pressure situation. We've seen Sabbath have pressure situations in now all 3 appearances. Excited to see what he does here at the Gov.
And this is what he's been known for in his time with the Rams. Had 8 saves this past season. Top 10 in a single season for Rhodey. Also had a sub-4 ERA through 41 innings of work. Faces the meat and potatoes of the YD lineup in the 9th, 3-4-5. Starting off with Chris Hakopian. A line out last time for the newest member of Texas A&M. You'll see a 4-pitch mix from Sabbath, a fastball, slider, changeup, curveball. Uses that combination of fastball and slider just about 95% of the time. Rarely sees the changeup in the curve. That fastball goes into the low 90s. Hakopian ahead in the count, 2-0. Hakopian up in the count. 3 balls, no strikes. He already has 5 RBIs this season. That's top 5 in the league. Really set the tone in his sophomore year in College Park, and an average high is 577 8 games in. That was the 3rd best batting average in the country at the time. Take all the way here, and it's called inside for ball 4. Joe Sabbath doesn't miss all that often, and it's a leadoff walk for the former Terp. A reminder that this broadcast is a copyrighted production of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Any unauthorized duplication, retransmission, or other use is strictly prohibited. But the leadoff man on for YD. Now here comes a pinch hitter. Cider Cannon is expected to hit, but not first in meeting from Todd Carroll with the rest of the Falmouth infield. Ryan, if you're Todd Carroll here, what are you telling this infield?
You're going double play depth. We haven't seen anyone turn 2 yet today. Hakopian's a decent runner off of first base against someone known more for his power, as he scored all 3 runs that YD scored against Brewster yesterday. You're also trying to settle down Sabbath, who's got a nice smile on his face right now. They're just one batter faced. And a guy who won't issue a lot of walks, has been good so far through his first 2 appearances with Falmouth, has yet to allow a run.
Cannon was a defensive replacement a little bit earlier in this ball game after an 0-for-3 effort from Alex Hernandez, who was part of the ACC Freshman of the Year.
That's a big bat for the Falmouth arms of Matt Saucer and Matthew Dallas to quiet before his appearance now for Joe Sabbath.
Cannon, a rising junior at Davidson, originally from California. 1 for 13 on the young season. Corners in, protecting the bunt. Cannon swings away and does so right through the slider. Cannon says he gets his athleticism from his mom, who played tennis at UC San Diego. We're going to across the country in Charlotte to play for Davidson. Same pitch, different result, as Cannon doesn't bite at this one. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Pretty good first name, too. Cider Cannon, double C's.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 CC. You have a favorite kind of cider?
I think
the only one I know is apple, so I don't know if there's another one.
Interesting question for you to ask, because I'm going to say the same thing that you would.
That's just what came to my mind.
I don't even know how they'd make other kinds. Orange cider, pomegranate cider.
We got a whole bucket list of things to do after this game. We got merchandise to get,
Better
cider
question.
to drink.
Here's a better question. Hot apple cider or cold apple cider?
I think I've only had hot.
Cold apple cider, you're missing out.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure missing out.
Swing and a miss from Cannon, and a big strikeout for Sabbath after the leadoff walk. Strikeout number 4 for Joe Sabbath on this season. Here's the 5-hitter, Nolan Traeger, freshman All-American from Texas Christian University. Sabbath starts him off with a strike. Traeger was phenomenal this past season. Batting .327, 3 home runs, more than 150 at-bats, especially on a very competitive TCU team.
Yeah.
Definitely has a high ceiling this summer. Sabbath 0-1. The breaking ball bounced in the dirt.
Traeger shared time as the Horned Frogs backstop with 2024 Commodore Carson Bowen. Bowen, a real fan favorite for the Doors last season. Pretty much here all summer. He just announced his transfer to the University of Florida.
It's going to be a loaded Gators room. Check over at first. First one that comes to mind, that recent transfer, and Blake Sear, who had that 2-run shot a couple nights ago for Brewster. Also one of the newer members of the Gators. Fastball slapped the other way. Is it going to drop in for a hit? It is. It's a fair ball. Hakopian heads to third. There's going to be no throw, and it's a 1-out double for Nolan Traeger. 2 ducks on the pond for the Red Sox, threatening in the 9th.
Sabbath leaves the pitch middle on Traeger. 91 miles an hour off the arm of Sabbath. So just laid on it, but barely getting it inside the left field line is Traeger.
First time Sabbath is going to face some danger here in 2 appearances, or I should say now 3 appearances on the Cape. Went 1-2-3 in his first, 1-2-3-4 in his second.
Again, we mentioned how it was Dallas who retired 12 consecutive batters, so no surprise, but between Hakopian and Traeger, these are the first 2 runners on since that 4th inning in which YD had the bases loaded.
Falmouth elects to go with the infield in. Hakopian the runner on third, Traeger at second, Cody Miller at the dish. 1 for 2 in this one with a single back in the 4th. And scored the first run thanks to the 2-run home run by the guy on deck. Sabbath 0-1. Swing and a miss. Goes for the breaking ball in the dirt, and it works to perfection. Quickly, 0-2. All 4 infielders with their toes on the grass. 0-2 from Sabbath. Popped up deep into center field. New back on it, makes the grab. Hakopian's going to tag. Commodores go the short way to third. Doesn't work out. It's a sac fly for Cody Miller. That does the trick. Hakopian comes in to score. YD back in front. 4-3 in the 9th.
A pretty simple sacrifice there for Cody Miller. 345 feet off the bat towards Mike Anu in the deep center field. Deepest part of the park here at Gov Fuller Field. So textbook tag up from third for Hakopian. Thought for a second he might have had Traeger at third base, but throw comes to Carl Schmidt just late.
AJ Soldier with a chance to extend the lead for YD. He squares the bunt, pulls it back. Soldier already has put his stamp on this one. A 2-run home run back in the second. Traeger's the runner on third. As YD already with the lead now, looking for a little bit of insurance.
How about the small ball YD's playing as well? That after the homer from Soldier, last 2 runs scored on that chopper right to the pitcher then saucer, in which Whitey had heads-up base running, then a simple sac fly, worked to perfection.
Squares the bunt once more. Can't put this one down. 1 ball and 1 strike. Soldier has been really impressive so far this season. Excuse me, this summer. 7 for 15 in 6 games played. 5 RBIs, 2 home runs. Breaking ball way out in front. Sabbath trying to get out of this frame with just the 1 run to come across.
Looked like Soldier was sitting fastball there, but that one's high in the zone just as his homer off of Saucer was if he slowed it down for the 81-mile-an-hour changeup.
1-2. Roped foul first base side. We've already talked about Sabbath being in some crucial spots this season for Rhode Island. Currently in line for the loss. Had a 7-2 record this past season in 28 appearances. And the count 1-2. Here's the pitch. Just outside. Sabbath doesn't think so.
And that hat falls off almost every time Sabbath works from the stretch. Those nice new white Commodores hats here just in time for the 2025 season, like with the white jerseys.
Did Soldier go around? No, he didn't. George Kransky down the third base line. Waves his hands and says no. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Soldier back in. Three balls and 2 strikes to Soldier. Long look in from Sabbath. Here it is. Below the knees for ball 4. So a nice battle back from A.J. Soldier. After he was down the count, 1 balls and 2 strikes, he works the walk. Runners at the corners for Yomar Carreras.
Make it the first 2 walks now of Sabbath's season and his 3rd appearance on Cape Cod, giving those 2 walks and again coming at poor times for the Rhode Island Ram.
One of the youngest members on the Cape, turns 19 in September, and a huge moment here in the 9th. Check over at first. Easy dive in for Soldier. Carreras highly touted at a high school, number 13 in the state of New Jersey. Runner thought about taking off. McCann pump fakes. It's a cold strike. As Soldier is about a quarter away down to second base. Seen that situation a couple times at the Gov this season. Brewster executed to perfection with runners at first and third in 2 outs. One ball and 2 strikes. Carreras are the 5 RBIs so far this season. 1-2. Outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runners at first and third. Whitey has already taken the lead in the 9th, thanks to the sac fly by Cody Miller to score Chris Akopian, who Carreras played earlier this season, went 5 for 13 against Maryland. 2-2. Swing and a miss. Runners stranded at the corners, but Joe Sabbath allows the 1 run to come across after the sac fly by Cody Miller. Falmouth needs a run to keep this one going. Can they do so? You'll have to find out after a break on Cape League TV.
Hi, I'm Jim Murray, owner of Falmouth's historic clam shack, now Jim's Clam Shack. Located on scenic Falmouth Harbor, Jim's Clam Shack is a destination for the best seafood and sunsets on the Cape. We're open 7 days a week, so stop by for lunch or join us for dinner on the rooftop deck. Bring the entire family to try our wide selection of seafood and kid-friendly options. We deliver the freshest products to your plates daily. Jim's Clam Shack, proud supporter of the Falmouth Commodores.
You'll always be safe at home with the Diana Lucevero Group at Compass Real Estate.
I'm Adrian Lopez. I'm an infielder from the University of Southern California, and you're watching Commodore Baseball on Cape League TV.
Bottom of the 9th here from Falmouth. Commodores trailing 4-3 to the Red Sox, looking to avoid dropping 2 games below 500 for the first time this season. 2-3-4 due up for the Commodores to face that guy in Derek Schaffler, who's been pretty solid so far out of the bullpen in his 3rd appearance this season on the Cape. Through 3 innings of work, 2 hits allowed, just the 1 earned run, thanks to the solo shot by David McCann to tie things up in the 8th. Justin Osterhaus is the first to meet him in the 9th. If Schaefer goes the distance here, he'll tie his longest outing of the season. Osterhaus has the shift on. 3 infielders to the right of second base.
For the Commodores, 3-4 on the season. Falmouth has yet to make a comeback effort after the 6th inning, which they'd obviously be in a position to do here.
Breaking ball, Osterhaus spoils it back. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Up the middle, into no man's land. Going to be a tough play for Miller. Can't make it. Osterhaus beats it up. He's got a leadoff single.
That's the kind of 9th inning hustle you want to see out of your lineup. Slow chopper, middle of the infield, but Osterhaus was thinking 0 to 90 as fast as he could right there.
In all 3 innings so far that Schaefer started, he's allowed the leadoff man on. Here's Mike Anu. 1 for 1. Has been on base all 4 times, though.
Be a decent time for New to break his Cape League tie of 3 home runs on the season so far.
I'd say so.
Be an okay thing for him to do.
One ball, 1 strike to the former Marshall Thundering Herd. His 2nd time in the transfer portal, left New Orleans after 2 seasons. And once again looking for a new home for his senior year. New has been hit by the pitch 2 times in this one. A walk in the second, single in the 7th. After an 0-for-5 effort last night. Another check. Back in safely.
On both those throws back, Osterhaus gets to his feet and gets back to that same lead position every time, staring down Schaefer.
1-1 from Schaefer. New pops it up, going to stay in the infield. Routine play for Hakopian, and he makes it.
With the threat on the base pass, and Osterhaus again having that big 2.5 stride lead off of first base. It's a big pop-up induced to the shortstop Hakopian.
Here's Kent Schmidt, who already has an RBI in this one in the first, out of a 2-run frame for Falmouth. A leadoff first for Osterhaus. And a called strike to Schmidt. Flyout victim to center in the 7th. It was really clutch for the Yellow Jackets this season. Batted just south of 400. Runner takes off, throw down to second. In time. The All-American Traegler punches out Osterhaus at second. And now Falmouth just 1 strike away from back-to-back losses.
Jump off of first base that Justin Osterhaus will want back. Got him plenty of time to throw to Hakopian at second.
Here is the 0-2. So what turned into plenty of momentum for Falmouth after the leadoff single. Feels dusk at the moment. 1-2. Blocked once again by Traegler. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, nobody on. Falmouth trails by 1 in the 9th. Schaefer likes the sign from Traegler. Here it is. Just outside. Goes to a full count. The payoff pitch. Schmidt pops it up sky high, going to stay in the infield. Miller, couple steps over, puts it away, and the Commodores fall 4-3 to the Red Sox tonight at Falmouth. YD does just enough in the 9th to get the victory, and the Doors fall to 3-5 on this young season. Ryan, feels like there were chances in this one for Falmouth to come back, and they definitely did so with that solo shot in the 8th, but gets down to those last moments of the game when you really need your stars to shine. Just couldn't get it done.
Yeah, 8 games in, Commodores now sitting at 3-5 on the young campaign. Again, we're mentioning you haven't seen that late inning comeback yet for Falmouth, and it looked like you might have had it right there with Osterhaus over at first base. You're going to want that steal attempt of second base back. That one's going to hurt here at Gov Fuller Field. A couple pitches later, it's Kent Schmidt who pops up to end this game. So you're in position to have potentially a walk-off. Falmouth only had 1 last year. I mentioned Patrick Roach at the beginning of the broadcast from Boston College. Late August, he had that walk-off for Falmouth position, but just a sentiment that we've had a bit often this season is that Falmouth can't get it done with a runner on base.
Closing the door, rolls on here on Cape League TV. YD takes this one 4-3 over Falmouth. The Red Sox, now winners of 4 straight, go to 5-2-1 before the off day tomorrow. And on a night where pitching was kind of the story in this one, and especially a really strong outing from Matthew Dallas, who gave Falmouth a chance. faced 12 batters, retired all 12. Just wasn't enough, though.
Yeah, one of the best performances we've seen out of the bullpen for
doubt.
Falmouth all year, if not the best, comes from the Wake Forest Demon Deacon and Matthew Dallas. On the scoreboard, this still reads 4-3. That's a good outing from Dallas, though, a pitcher that you hope to have for extended innings because of his limited playing time in Winston-Salem in his first year in the ACC. So I think for Falmouth, this is the perfectly timed off day now after losing 3 straight games losing 2 straight, 3 of your last 4 since Fenway Day. We'll have to see what Tuesday brings against Hyannis.
Monday off day, Thursday off day, 2 games in the middle of the week. We'll be back on the air on Tuesday when the Commodores take on the Harbor Hawks for the first time in the summer of 2025. But YD takes this one 4-3 over Falmouth. For our entire crew here from Gov Fuller Field, our producer Dan Papillo, our director Kyle Klima, and for my partner Ryan Martin, I'm Andrew Delpion saying so long, Falmouth. We'll see you on